Super 3, OF, yes. Save all your lettuce and drop your tomatoes. Haji beats where he looking for a large payroll, not dimes, nickels, pennies, pesos. I'm trying to stack chips, nigga, peeling my potatoes. If I'm not the biggest boss that you've seen thus far, take a look at the exquisite luxury cars. Big punks being stuffed into a Cuban cigar. Promethazine on the leaf only to get bizarre. We don't go to the club, nigga, we post at the bar. Have conversation with girls that don't know who we are. With diamonds in my ears, looking like cube stars. I live a matrix life and we cruise hard for
and
bread.
I swear I'm a fiend, dope fiend. I'm an addict, crack music going hard. I future gotta bag it. I swear that I'm a fiend, dope fiend. I'm an addict, crack music going hard. I future gotta bag it. Yeah, make it stretch like bubble gum. Yeah, make it stretch like bubble gum. Yeah, make it stretch like bubble gum. And all the little females like yummy yo.
Now ugly girls get out, the light-skinned girls about. Without a doubt, you niggas don't amount to shit, no need to count. Now bring the ruler out like Rick the ruler, paid in full. I'm cooler than your cooler, got these hoes, now where's my garden tool? Fuck them all them fuck with the future. Eye backwards, thrash hard, backyard, beach cruiser. Look, you niggas can't contain the thoughts that's flowing in my brain. The synthesizer schizoneutrons, I'm steering paper planes. And the white girls love me, and the haters shove me and push me until I beat the pussy up like it was ugly. And that's without the loot. Niggas take the time to tune the diamond dollars. Bitch, I'm complex like iced out Rubik's Cube. Look, I'm the truth, now stop daring me. Niggas kill yourself and decide to go back to therapy. And my right is right, my right is left, my left is wrong. Now bitches throw your fucking bras off while I'll be writing my songs.
And I swear I'm a fiend, dope fiend. I'm an addict, crack music going hard. I future gotta bag it. I swear that I'm a fiend, dope fiend. I'm an addict, crack music going hard. I future gotta bag it like, yeah, make it stretch like bubble gum. Yeah, make it stretch like bubble gum. Yeah, make it stretch like bubble gum. And all the little females like yummy yum.
Give me a couple commas while I abbreviate. The war between the pen and paper, I alleviate. Alexander is Haji, cause I can be the great. As long as I have 100 mil in a cheesesteak in a big briefcase, like I won the sweepstakes. Our future got money out the ass for G's sakes. I feel like I could fly without wings on my back. This is crack with me, but this crack ain't whack. I got niggas hooked, yeah, the stadium packed. And I flip that like a gymnasium mat. It's grind time, and I'm making it stretch. Why get less for more where you can get more for less?
Alright,
Pure for less.
we got everyone, not everyone, but we're still waiting on some people, you know, but I'm just gonna set everything
what I
up.
recommend pressing. If you comprehend what I recommend, our future.
Well, I'm not saying it's not Iraqi. Alright, stream. We got a new mic as well, so. Alright. I think the RTS, yeah, the RTS people know about the new mic, but. I don't know. If you guys like it or not, just tell me, but. The old mic is gone.
And I swear
it's
I'm a
lost,
fiend,
but
dope fiend. I'm
we're
an
still,
addict, crack
this
music
is the
going
new
hard. I
arrangement for the
future
mic.
gotta bag it. I swear that I'm a fiend, dope fiend. I'm an addict, crack music going hard. I future gotta bag it like, yeah, make it stretch like bubble gum. Yeah, make it stretch like bubble gum. Yeah, make it stretch like bubble gum. And all the little females like yummy yum.
Okay.
It's gonna do the lo-fi now. Okay. Alright. So I think we all know why we're here, right? And it's for a very pertinent reason, right? Like, I'm just gonna get this off the table or whatever. I like Hakim. Like I mean, a lot of his videos are good. You know, I don't know about all of the stuff he's talking about the Middle East. You know, I'm not even educated on the whole thing. So this is like strictly on the whole, you know, issue between what he's saying about Ethiopia, right? You know, I'm Ethiopian myself, and also just I'm someone who actually has read a lot on Ethiopian socialism and stuff like that. So I mean, if you guys just want like a big, not rundown, but if you want like the most concise summary, like Hakim was capping at his ass. Like this shit was embarrassing, bro. Cause like the guy could have just said I don't know, you know what I'm saying? But nah, dude, he had to act like he knows, dude. And that's so embarrassing, bro. I don't know why he did that. Because we're gonna methodically go over. I have 5 points he went over. I'm gonna show you guys the actual thing. I'm just gonna pause and whatever. It's gonna be like a Falcone general thing, but I don't know. The setup is a little bit ghetto right now, but we're gonna we're gonna improve it, and also we're gonna make a YouTube one as well. The YouTube one will look a lot better, and it'll probably just be like a stream segment like this one, like I did the Ethio communist one, which you guys should check out because that was actually 2 good it was from 1 stream, but 2 conversations about. And RTSG wanted to debate. I got you, bro. I got you. You guys can have this one, you know. What's up, Billy? The thumbnail that was made by some friends. I don't know if they want me to say it or not, but it was made by my people. I didn't make it. That's just what I'm trying to say. But it's good shit. So we got, yeah. I think people just like that sort of music. I like more like energetic shit, but I don't know. This is just I got you. Yeah, dude, this is Prism RTSG collab. Okay, this is basically it. You know how there's like Supreme X Yeezys or whatever? This is Hadassah X RTSG, bro. It's like the next step in urban wear, but it's the next step when it comes to YouTube video essays and shit. So this is the future right now, dude. Hadassah X RTSG. That is the arc, bro. That is the new arc. Yeah, Mac. So we're gonna get started soon. I'm just gonna go over the 5 points. It's a little bit long, especially the last 2. But then we're gonna have some people on. I think Rootin' for Lenin is gonna come up. He's the guy really active on the Discord. I think he's like a hojist or whatever. And then if he wants to come up and do a debate, Ethio26 can do that. Or if he just wants to come again and talk as like a little closure, because that's usually what we do, me and Ethio26. Not forget. Yeah, no, I never will. But yeah, so Ethio26, hopefully he'll be on, but we got an appearance from Rootin' for Lenin. He's definitely gonna be featuring. He's the okay, I mean, that's just what people call you, but yeah, so we're gonna get started. I'm just gonna turn off, I'll have to turn off the music to show you guys, but basically it all starts. Alright, so let me just give you the rundown, right? People who just came in, right? Oh, it's a little bit loud. I got you. Oh, next time when I turn it back on. But this all starts because Hakim did a stream with Yugopnik. I've spoken with Yugopnik, not as Hadassah, but on my personal account, ET1K. He probably doesn't remember, but I'm just an Ethiopian dude if he does remember. But we talked about, but I'm just saying like how I relate to the dude. It has nothing to do with this. But Hakim and Yugopnik did a stream. I'll just go in display mode now. Hakim did a stream with Yugopnik. And Hakim was asked a question by Yugopnik. Sorry, well, it was one of those super chat questions, right? And the question was, I don't know if I'll just show the question.
Also known as Sergey.
I'll turn it down a bit. This is the question he was asked.
Matthew Muntz, thoughts on Ethiopian socialism, also known as the Derg. Go off on this, King.
All right. Yeah, it is a very complicated.
All right, so that was the question, right? And we're just gonna go through this bit by bit, right? Just gonna break it down, right? Ethiopian socialism in as its own unique entity, it doesn't exist. It's Marxism Leninism, and it's not even like, oh, we're just trying to have like a pure form of ideology. It's not that. It's literally it's just Marxism Leninism. There was no uh movement, I guess, like in Yere, right, with Ujama, or in Kuma, right, or some even I mean Sankara was an ML, but other than that, he was one of those nationalist ML leaders, right? Like Agostinho Neto, Samora Machel, and stuff like that. Uh, out of yeah, that's true. That's true. The trio you're talking about, you're right. Yugopnik is chill, man. I like the dude. I really like him. So we're just gonna go through every single question. So I'm gonna play right now.
Case. You need to remember that when it comes to the African socialisms, they're always a bit complicated because they try to facilitate. They try to play both sides. They never really, they would try to play on the American side and the Soviet side to try to get their own aim. But what ended up happening is they always fermented different groups, usually within the military, that ended up supporting different factions. And
All right. So that was the first. That was his first mistake, dude. I understand what he means when he's talking about Nkrumah or even Lumumba or Nyerere, right? Julius Nyerere. I understand that. Like, yeah, they were non-aligned, but this was dude, this was coming out of his ass, dude. Because how does Mengistu have any relation towards Nkrumah when it comes to ideology? I know what he means. The African socialisms like Sekou Touré or Nkrumah, like I said before. That occupies its own field of scientific socialism. Marxism Leninism is completely different. That's something that Mengistu Haile Mariam explicitly subscribed to. He wasn't playing both sides. He wasn't even like Siad Barre. Siad Barre, yeah, sure he was ML, but he was playing both sides too with the American proxy of the Islamic world, like, and he was also with the Soviets, but he was more Soviet aligned. But this was just I don't even know why he had to say that. Like, what's that? Like, you're just trying to fill up. You're just trying to fill up speaking time, you know. So if you are relating, I'll give him the benefit of the doubt first and say he's not relating to Ethiopian Marxism Leninism, but if not, then this is just disappointing, dude. Because you could have at least done your basic research. Because in Africa, Mengistu was literally the poster child for Marxism Leninism, right? It's so obvious that the guy was an ML that he could have done the most basic research and not have had to say that. And he also said something about different factions in the civil war, making in the military, sorry, creating civil wars. This didn't exist in Ethiopia, man. This there was a civil war, right? But the military itself, it was very united because after Mengistu purged all the neo-monarchist and monarchist officers, there was only socialist officers. So yeah, sure, there was some, dumbasses in charge, like the guy who called off the Red Star Offensive. But there wasn't like military cliques that would like start civil wars like coup d'états. This never existed. Like Mengistu's internal government was one of the most, I would say, one of the most secure. Right? There wasn't like scheming or whatever. Everyone listened to Mengistu because Mengistu knew what he was talking about. Right? So those were the two first points I made. And yeah, this was disappointing with Hakim. This made me like you can literally see me in chat. Let me scroll. I don't know. Maybe I started talking about it before, but I'm gonna go with the next question. And tell me, yeah, exactly, Gluten. And tell me if it's go. Sorry, I was something on my mouth. Tell me if I'm going too fast or whatever, chat. Because we actually got 13 people. Oh shit. Oh shit.
then that would always devolve into either civil war or coups that would end up being followed. A lot of the times they didn't have appropriate centralized government structures as a result of them being newly independent countries. And of course, the former colonialists never built up appropriate civil institutions and administrative institutions to run a modern nation state. So they were also a victim of their circumstances. When it comes to Derg specifically,
Alright. Second mistake. and this is where I definitely give him the benefit of the doubt because I'm pretty sure he does know that Ethiopia, even if you want to say the Italian occupation was colonization, the uh, the effects of the uh, the effects of colonialism from Italy and the fascist imperialism, it never had deep roots, right? Like the Italian language, it never took over as an administrative language. Ethiopia still had those imperial structures existing after the occupation, after World War II. So this point, it holds no ground, right? It doesn't have any merit. So I'll give Hakim the benefit of the doubt that that I think he knows that Ethiopia. Uh, I guess if you want to be facetious, you can say Italy 1936, but the effect it wasn't the same as Ghana or Tanzania, right? So uh, yeah, so that's point number three. So we got some more stuff.
Early period, they were pretty good, particularly with the literacy programs. Late period, going to war in the region, especially with if I remember correctly, they went to war with Somalia, which was also socialist at the time, if I remember correctly. But
This was like one of the dumbest points, dude. Like what is he thinking? If you actually read into the Ogaden War, by the way, Dogu, thank you very much. Yeah, thank you for, yeah, those are kind words, man. Thank you. Uh, and oh, by the way, I was gonna say if you read Fanon, the that dichotomy between the colonizer and the colonized in Fanonian theory, it doesn't exist with Ethiopia, right? So even the mentality and also the material structures of Ethiopia was never changed by Italian colonization. Even if you look at like materially and also through Fanon. But what he said here was that you know, yeah, the literacy program was one of the best on earth. Yeah, I mean, you know, that's not cap. That was something that was actually true. But but the his problem is what he said about the Ogaden War. Ethiopia was forced into the war. Like if you even if you look at Wikipedia, man, you can literally see Somalia attacked Ethiopia first. Like it's objective that they attacked, right? I understand the grievances, right, of pan Somalians. Like me personally, I think the Ogaden should be with Somalia, but I don't think even if yeah, the war was a terrible thing, you know, and in fact, the Siad Barre's army killed like many ethnic minorities in the Ogaden, but uh the problem is that he puts this on Mengistu's fault. Like how is being like that's like saying it was Stalin's fault for getting attacked by Hitler. Like that makes no sense at all. Mengistu was the one attacked by Siad Barre, and Siad Barre was a crypto fascist, dude. Like the second the arms that were going to Somalia were taken away from the USSR, Somalia immediately switched to the United States, and you know, just kept a super strong control of the country, but you know, allowed capitalist infiltration, and not even infiltration. He just immediately dropped socialism, right? And even then, there were talks. Like I understand pan-Somalists first of all, but there were talks to unite the entire Horn of Africa into one socialist state, which Somalia rejected it, right? Even, I mean, I don't know if they formally did, but by going to war with like the only other country in the Horn at the time, other than Djibouti, sorry, you're basically rejecting the proposition, right? So Somalia had a very deep had problems, right? But I don't think you can pin those problems on Mengistu. If you want to talk about Barre, that's fine. Like go ahead. I personally don't know enough about Barre. I know Ethiopia 26 knows a lot more than me. Uh, but with Bari, yeah, the guy was like this ethno nationalist, like religious socialist. Which I mean, you can be religious and socialist, but it's his regime was very weird, and he did do good stuff. I'm not saying he didn't. Like in the socialist phase of Somalia, there was a lot of work done for literacy and industrialization stuff like that. Like deep respect for Siad Barre when he was in that phase. And it also goes to like paint the loyalty of the two people, right? Because Gorbachev and even Brezhnev betrayed Ethiopia. Like Brezhnev was giving us terrible deals for arms. He was making us like go through hell and back to get the most dirty Soviet guns, so we just said fuck it, let's make our own. And Ethiopia now has like one of the only military industries in sub-Saharan Africa, right? Yo, Amer freestyle. I got you, bro. Hakim is. I'm gonna shut down the entire stream. No, nah, Sultan. But what was I gonna say? Yeah, Gorbachev and Brezhnev, they betrayed Ethiopia with terrible economic deals. You know, and just basically being, you know, you can interpret it as social imperialism. Yeah, Mengistu still strived for socialism within Ethiopia and Africa, right? That's why we still supported the Zimbabwean independence struggle, right? And even helping out South Yemen and all other and other just belligerent powers in the Arab Cold War, right? Like Ethiopia was very out there helping world socialism, even when Brezhnev was a complete ass to Ethiopia. And Brezhnev didn't even do much. Like we got some guns, sure, but it was the Cubans, and we have eternal thanks for the Cubans. But nah, dude, screw Brezhnev and screw Gorbachev. Not just for their policies with Ethiopia, but they're just bad people. And now this is where Hakim just falls flat on his face, man, with the last portion. And that's what he said about the Derek's economy. I know I'll talk about it so you guys don't like, lose the context, but dude, this is literally just cap. I'm sorry, bro, but this is literally just lies.
I would need to check my history on that. That was a bit of a that was a bit yikes. But generally, it was not a good example because of
First of all, I just want to say, wait, actually, I'll let him finish why it's not a good example, but
the track they followed. By that I mean they didn't try to develop some sort of indigenous socialism based on the local conditions. What they tried to do was something similar to, for example, what South Yemen did, which is a mechanical placement of Soviet economic principles or Eastern European economic models right onto highly agrarian, feudal, non-industrialized conditions. These are things that, for example, the Chinese learned right away not to do that, but a lot of the African socialism did not. And as a result, they always ended up with lopsided issues. Either they would have hyperinflated currencies, or they would have currencies that were way too strong with too small of a supply, and a heavy emphasis on, ironically, heavy industry without the appropriate civilian infrastructure to make use of that heavy industry. It gets very complicated, but the Derg is one nice example of the general symptoms of failed African socialisms. So you should study them, but the relevance...
So that was like a big spiel, but there's two things. He said, why is it... First of all, Hakeem, why is the Derg a bad example? They increased literacy from 66% to 80%. They were the first people to... Well, first of all, they ended slavery in Ethiopia. They did the most to attack ethnic chauvinism in the country. They they ended the capitalist growth in Ethiopia that was going on at the time. They instituted an actual new democracy in the country before switching to a socialist state. How can you dislike if you read on New Democracy, by Mao, all the prerequisites that happened to establish a new democracy happened with Mengistu. I mean, it's up to interpretation, I guess. And I would like to talk about it with like someone who's actually well versed in Mao's works. But the problem with Hakim is that he needs to read, dude. Like you can't go have these Wikipedia glimpses and make your opinions. And now let's talk about like the biggest thing, and that's just what he said about the economy, dude. That is the most terrible lie you could do. And he also said he compared it to South Yemen, so he's definitely talking about socialist Ethiopia. So like the guy was very much capping when it comes to the fact that he's just talking out of his ass with the Derg economy. First of all, when Mengistu got into power, he didn't immediately start the building of heavy industry or whatever. He immediately attacked the pervasive contradictions of Ethiopia with the whole landlord and peasant dichotomy, ending slavery and all this sorts of stuff. Like for example, he did Marathon Arashi, which means land to the tiller, in Amharic. He completely destroyed the land-owning class and replaced it with land-owning peasant farmers. The actual farmers themselves would organize in peasant cooperatives and kabeles or just committees, and they would vote for their own bureaucrats and their own representatives to advocate for their specific district, I guess in English. This immediately, first of all, this changed the entire situation in Ethiopia when it comes to the new state, right? It completely put the Derek into like, if we're talking Ethiopia, like the 28th century, like completely shot us to the future when it comes to agricultural production and just societal development. You know, like we lost so much in the period of the monarchy, and he literally just brought it all back. Just this cultural revival of just Ethiopia itself, like Ethiopia actually having a word, Ethiopian, sorry, just the word Ethiopia actually having relevance to every single Ethiopian instead of just the Amhara or the Tigray during Meles, or now it's just Abiy Ahmed's like clique ruling Addis. During the Derg, the word Ethiopia actually had relevance to the entirety of Ethiopians, right? So what he's saying about this one-to-one industrialization, it doesn't hold up at all. That's why the only time we actually started seeing large-scale industrialization was after the revolution in 1987, which was after Mengistu and his cabinet decided that the contradictions between just the landowning contradictions started to dissipate. That's when literacy became pretty high, one of the highest in the underdeveloped world. So the Mengistu said, let's take Ethiopia to the next level, the Ethiopian 10-year plan in 1987. And it was supposed to be till obviously 97. It was supposed to turn Ethiopia at least to a beginning industrial power, and it would have completely changed the country's economy and how it just functioned in general. So this isn't just Ethiopia trying to do like a one for one. And I don't know anything about South Yemen, right? So I can't substantiate his criticisms there. But dude, just please, like you're just insulting us at this point as Ethiopians, as socialists, as Pan-Africanists. You're just insulting us for like when you just go around saying these complete like buffoonery lies, dude. And uh and yeah, Mengistu first built the Ethiopian proletariat and then started this like Soviet-esque industrialization. It wasn't like immediate. And when I say it's not even Soviet-esque because it actually took into the consideration the conditions of the time, right? So why, like Hakim, like man to man, dude, why can't you just keep your mouth shut, dude? Why can't you just say I don't know about Ethiopian socialism? I don't know about the Derek. Like, why do we have to do this? Like, you know, like it's so unnecessary, you know? Like I am this is coming from someone who really watched a lot of your stuff, you know, like you actually gave me the drive to actually start researching like ML and stuff like that. Now I call myself one. Right? So Hakeem, like this is just disappointing, dude. So that's the first part of the stream, and that's just going through every single point I made about the country. I kind of went on a tangent there, but yeah, yeah, he is parroting Western narratives, person. It's unnecessary too. Like, why can't you just read, dude? Like, I can like, bro, Hakeem DM me. Like, I'll actually give you reading material because like you have such like how much views did you get? You got 23K views, right? And let's just say a fourth of those people watch the end of the entire stream because not everyone watches like whole stream, right? So let's just say a fourth. And you can probably see on the analytics. Let's just say a fourth people watch that stream. Now they're gonna walk away with like that's like you know what, a couple thousand people. So now people are gonna walk away thinking like, oh my god, the Derek was as what you called it when you were like when I'm sorry, dude, but you just lied about the Derek. You know, so Hakeem, you gotta like just read up, dude. Like you can't just say this sort of stuff and just act like you can just. I don't want to say like get away with it. That sounds cringe, but you can't just act like you're just like this the biggest name in socialism. Right? You can't act like that and then have these people like worship every word you say. So then they just parrot what you're talking about. Because you have an impact now, dude. You have almost 100K subscribers. You're like the biggest Marxist-Leninist channel. Bro, yo, you got the RTSG money for the super chat? Nah. But like you have the biggest ML channel on earth, bro. Like you actually have to start being accountable for what you say. And I understand for a lot of your other videos, you do the research. Like I respect you for that. But this was just disappointing, dude, as an Ethiopian and many other, people. Some of them were Ethiopian, others were just like this is just false, man. So you like Hakim, like obviously like I'm the tiniest, I'm like a bug to you, right? But like you actually have to start listening to what people talk about when, especially on Africa, right? Which because no one talks about Africa, if someone with such a verifiable name and such a big name like you, if you say X about Africa, people will believe X, because there's no like information from any big channel talking about it, right? So Hakeem, you actually have to be held accountable. But I will say a lot of the stuff you said about uh, previous African socialisms, like the specific movement of African socialism in the 50s, 60s, and 70s, a lot of that was correct. But with the Derg, and I assume you're going to persist with these takes with things like Angola and Mozambique, when I don't know enough about their economic uh, what's it called, their economic outlook and the economic route they took. But you have to realize, like, when things, because I'll give you that you were kind of correct on African socialism. But when you're going around saying this stuff about more unique things like the Derg and like Mengistu Haile Mariam, you have to actually do the research, dude, because A, you can't lump Africa into one big uh, monolith when it comes to socialism because it's one of the most diverse in the world. Uh, right? So let me read this. Yeah, Keem's just going around saying anything's pretty damaging. Like you said, yeah, exactly. Exactly. See, I'm getting to some people, dude, because it's actually like, it actually has a big impact, Hakeem. So this I'm just waiting for rooting for Lenin if he's here. But if he's not, then yeah, this was a segment on Hakeem. But yeah, Prism, if you want to come on, you can come on. I think I'm done with my whole point thing, but just tell me when you can, and I'll get in the VC or whatever. Uh, but yeah, so other than that, Hakeem, like if you do watch this, yeah, you have to actually you have to work on your how you talk about this sort of stuff, man. I'm going on a tangent now, but yeah, it's it's disappointing, man. It's disappointing. What else? Oh, by the way, when I say I'll just elaborate on the stuff I was talking about the economy. Yeah, so Mengistu he tried to. There's a book called Non-Capitalist Development in Ethiopia, by the way, which I'd recommend everyone to read. And it's just about how Mengistu looked at the problems with Ethiopia and stuff like that, and actually developed a scientific uh, route to solving the contradictions in Ethiopia, which he did semi perfectly. Right, the villagization. I don't know enough about it to say like a definitive statement, but definitely the Zamencha campaign, the which was like the literacy campaign, the Kabele formations and stuff like that, all of that worked, right? And actually helped developing that Ethiopian working class. That's why we only started to have like a working Ethiopian workers party. Well, workers party of Ethiopia makes it sound like it's like the Ethiopian party of the proletariat, or like it's excluding the farmers or whatever. Because even though Ethiopia, yeah, it was still overwhelmingly agrarian, right? But Ethiopian Workers' Party in Amharic, it translates to Yeethiopia Saratenya Party, which means just the party of Ethiopian laborers, right? This basically means anyone who does work, because at the time, because of Haile Selassie in the empire, right? From what I'm told from people, like the word Gebere had a negative connotation. And if someone who's more well versed on the deeper meanings of Amharic words at that time period, make sure to correct me. But from what I understand, the Ethiopian word for farmer, gebere, had a very negative connotation because farmers now, sorry, not now, but during Mengistu, being a farmer was something to be proud of. You know what I'm saying? Like you feed the Ethiopian people. He had a very deep appreciation for the farmers, and that's why he did the land to the tiller policy. But before Ethiopian farmers, first of all, the Italians didn't end slavery in Ethiopia. First of all, they enslaved Ethiopians to build like public works. and B, slavery still existed after the empire, right? So Mengistu is the one who actually ended slavery fully in the country. Now, like, yeah, of course, there's human trafficking, but the actual institution of slavery, of that imperial slavery, it doesn't exist anymore, thank God. And that is fully because of Mengistu. I give 100% credit to Mengistu. So, yeah, Hakim just took the L there, dude. When he talks about just this one-to-one development. That wasn't true at all, man. That's very, it's a very, I'm just organizing some stuff, sorry. But yeah, Hakim very much just lied, dude, when it comes to the economic policy, because that's something I actually read a lot about. Uh, wow, dude, I got uh, that's something I read a lot about to do the research on the Ethiopian Revolution video, and to also do the uh, and just to also learn about my own country, right? So when Hakeem, like when you come at me with like this sort of stuff, bro, you're just like asking for like this sort of like pushback, right? So the yeah, so that's what I was saying. Like the People's Democratic Republic wasn't formed until 1987 because Mengistu methodically thought out and tried to destroy the old society of Ethiopia, and he successfully did. Right? You know, women walked around free. They walked around without in Ethiopia, many Orthodox people they wear like shawls around their head, and it's mostly for conservative people. And also, it's just very societally. It's not really. It's not the hijab, but Orthodox Christians, right? They wear it more often. It's kind of like in even in Russia, right? Older like babushkas or whatever, like they wear it, but it was very common. And now, you know, the women not now, but the women back then they walked around free. Okay, an hour. Okay, I'll do my best. I'll try, but yeah, but the but you know, people walked around free. People were not afraid of their ethnicity. You know, people were allowed to speak their language, right? Which is something so like it seems so little, but like it means a lot more when people actually think about it. In such a multi-ethnic country like Ethiopia, the idea that you couldn't speak your language, which wasn't Amharic, it was the reality, right? It's not even ideas, right? You just couldn't speak your language in public. You would lose your job and that sort of stuff. A lot of people have testified to that sort of to the reality at the time, right? So 30 minutes, yeah, yeah. Take your time, take your time. It would just be a lot more chill, you know, because I'm I'm getting a little bit. But yeah, that was just my big spiel on Ethiopia. Yeah, that's just yeah. I might get someone on, but you guys, I don't know. A lot of the viewers probably know him because it's from RTSG, but yeah, Muslim known during public events or something which would be unheard of during the imperial era as well. Yeah, exactly. And Malawi, yeah, that's absolutely true because Ethiopia during Mengistu, it wasn't state atheist. If you actually read the constitution, from what I understand, they specifically said we are a very secular country. Our government is very, very secular, but we do allow religious freedoms. The reason why there was Orthodox repression, from what I understand, was because a lot of neo-monarchist groups kind of infiltrated the church and tried to, you know, get rebellions and stuff like that going on in the country. So that's why there was like a lot of repression from, you know, what we call Orthodox or whatever. I'm sorry, not of course we call them Orthodox, but that's what we see with the so-called repression of Ethiopian Orthodox Christians. But yeah, Muslims in the country were actually there's like a little bit of a you know mythology that like Ethiopia was this very peaceful country that you know all the religions coexisted, everyone lived nicely. That didn't exist during the empire. Like I know that for sure. You know what I'm saying? But maybe I mean I think that was the reality during Mengistu, right? Religions genuinely religious groups just genuinely didn't care, right? Like people were allowed to you know go around and proclaim I'm a proud excuse me, I'm a proud whatever religious group they're part of. Right? There was just that sort of period with the Orthodox. And that was only like That was until like the patriarch got executed. But even then, I don't even know the entire story about that because like there's that's a whole different conversation with the whole Ethiopian Orthodox Church and its impact. Well, not impact, but its power with the monarchy. Tewodros proved the church moved against the monarchy of their privileges were changed. I don't really know what that. Can you like rephrase that? Emperor Tewodros proved the church moved against the monarchy of their privileges were changed. If their privileges were changed. Yeah, no, yeah. I mean, I'm pretty sure in a way because Ethiopia had basically. I think I know what you mean when you're talking about like absolutism and how the church is a part of it. Like, yeah, Ethiopia did try to have like an absolutist project, but we tried to do it two times, right? With the Gondarian period, right, which when the capital was in the city of Gondar, and also the period where with Haile Selassie, right? But definitely Tewodros started the foundations of that sort of um, uh, expansion of the Ethiopian Orthodox Church, right? And I think uh, the church sided with Johannes and the British when Tewodros did. Yeah, exactly. The church has always been a very reactionary force in Ethiopia because they don't want their land taken away and stuff like that. So yeah, I just wait, Scourge God, Habesha gang grip. Thank you, bro. Thank you. I just checked out your thing about like the channels with all the hot stuff. Yeah. No, but Ruin, yeah, you're right. You're right. Yeah, the church very much so proved a, I guess, reactionary force when it comes to stifling the growth of different religious groups, and obviously religion in Ethiopia, other than really the Oromo, it kind of follows ethnic lines, right? So while restricting lots of religious development, you saw a lot of the lack of, well, the restriction of development of a lot of cultural groups and stuff like that. So. I'm not gonna drink some water. Quick. So yeah, there's like a very like you know yeah, I mean, that the empire was so bad, man. It's kind of depressing when I see like I know it's a religion and stuff like that, but with like Rastafarians, like they truly venerate this guy Haile Selassie. And Haile Selassie was the worst, dude. Like obviously I'm Hara, I'm Tigray, half each, right? So the empire really did favor, I guess, people like me, but even looking at it through a historical standpoint, Tewodros was my favorite emperor, right? Like, I think the guy was against what he did with British colonials and how he united the country. I think that shit was badass, right? When it comes to the post Zemena Masafa, Tewodros was definitely like he was my guy, right? But I can understand if you like Menelik or Tewodros, but why would you like Haile Selassie, dude? Like the most ass emperor ever. He was like 5'2", like he was like super soy, dude. He was super beta. So I don't know why the hell. Uh, I don't know why he would do that. Not he, but I had a conversation with someone who believed all Ethiopians would be replaced because of the crime of killing. Is that like some Rasta thing? Is that like people would like like Ethiopians would be punished for the death of Haile or something? Yeah, I think that's what you mean. I don't know fully, but wait, yeah, wait, Balawi, where are you from? I'm curious because you were talking about like imams in like socialist Ethiopia. I'm just curious, but yeah, I live in what's it called? I live in the Southwest, right? So I don't really see a lot of Rastas, but I've met one time I think when I was in Atlanta. But I they've been nice to me. So okay, I got you. Yeah, I don't know if I maybe I'm wrong or whatever, but from what I understand, the ethnic situation in Mengistu's Ethiopia, it was a lot better for I guess southern not minorities, definitely definitely not with the Oromo, but just southern peoples, right? Like the situation was a lot better with their treatment. I hear sometimes like it wasn't the case, but I don't know, from what you understand, from what you've read, like that different viewpoint, like, I don't know the reality, right? So if you know, make sure to tell me. But yeah, Mengistu definitely at least solved a lot of problems with ethnicity. Like even Mengistu's like I think either mother or father was a slave, right? Like he definitely had, yeah, he had like an internalized, of course, he had internalized hatred for the. He said, and he said Mengistu period was the peak for him and his family. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Certainly was. I had a conversation with my mother's side of my family, specifically my family. Wow. Okay. Okay. Damn. Yeah, dude. I don't know if you've seen. Like, I don't know how much like I guess like unanecdotal research you do on Mengistu, right? But just from what I understand, dude, like that shit was mystical, bro. Like obviously there was a lot of problems, there was war going on, but it was genuinely a different planet when we look at it. Like it was people just lived differently, dude. People just acted differently. Like that generation just kind of completely like felt not that generation, but the generations after, dude, they're disappointing. Like the millennials who are super, ethnocentric. And I understand like the what a lot of these ethnocentric parties are asking for, right? Not just independence, but just the grievances they've received in Ethiopia during the empire, right? Just if that have been like reinstated, right, by Meles and Howie, and just the Tigray dictatorship, all that stuff. I understand that, dude. Like I actually support things like the OLF and stuff like that, and a lot of those parties when they strive for that sort of self determination in regards to the improvement of their ethnic reality, right? Because that's just something you have to take into consideration, right? Just you will never like leave those the effects of like a 3,000-year-old Ethio-Semitic monarchy that dominated the country, right? Like we'll never stop feeling those like those problems. So I'm gonna give Ruin like 10 more minutes and then I'm gonna just end the stream. But yeah, unless there's something else to talk about other than Hakim's. I mean, this whole thing was about Hakim, right? So I don't know if anyone's confused about what I mean, because I think I went through this a little bit fast, right? But if you guys have any questions on why I think Hakim was wrong, then just tell me. But I think I explained it pretty well, maybe a little bit fast, but yeah, this was kind of disappointing. I lost a lot of respect for him as like a content. I wouldn't really call myself a content creator. That's like me in the same caliber as like Yugopnik, right? So I don't really see myself at that level, but I don't know. I lost, yeah, just as someone who also does research for videos. I really do. I really did lost a lot of respect because I never do that shit, dude. I never do some argument based on hearsay with this, bro. Everything is like very much research and stuff like that. I think my voice is a little bit boring, so I just realized there was like no music, right? So that's fucking. Let me fix that. If that's too loud. Current events really makes me wonder what people. Yeah, Walang Makundan. Yeah, because I mean I'm pretty sure what Walang Makundan was talking about that was implemented within the country. With the EPRDF. I don't know. I think Walang Makundan. I read his thing like the like what must be done with like ethnicity in Ethiopia, something like that. He was just talking about what has to be done with the socialist revolution. I read that. I don't really agree. I do think we have to engage in a period of just relentless, what's it called? Acknowledgement of the crimes that happened all over the country for people, especially in the South, especially Muslim peoples, that still exist today, right? The problem of land and the whole, I don't know if I'm allowed to say it on YouTube, but like the whole Neftinya thing, right? Just this whole settler issue, right? I think we do have to answer those, like the empire, yeah, it's gone, but we still have to live with their sins, I guess. Hakim would say you were disappointing last stream with Saddam was brought up. What, wait, did I say anything about Saddam? I don't know, but did I say anything about Sudan? I think I said a little bit about Pan-Arabism, but me and Ethiopia were talking about how it kind of not discriminates, but it explicitly like goes against the national interests of like, you know, ethnic Kurds and Berber or Amazigh, sorry, Assyrians, and I mean it explicitly goes against it, you know, like because the claims you didn't Ethiopia talked about it. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. But yeah, Ethiopia was talking about that. I don't know if I agree with him now. Yeah, yeah, but yeah, I'm just waiting for Wooten. I don't know. I said my 2 cents, you know, so I'm happy on how this turned out. But yeah, this is what happens, dude, when you have the RTSG stamp of approval. Ethnic Kurds were considered Arabs. Yeah, like I said it before, like even when I started streaming, I'm not educated at all in the Middle East. You know, like Prism has actually been talking to me very well. Well, he's saying a lot of interesting and like educating me on the Middle East. But the whole Kurd issue, like I still don't have like a definitive thing, right? Because they're not even Semitic peoples, right? Like they're Iranian peoples. And like some people say they should be Arabs. Other people say they're just like their own nation, their own identity, right? The entire Kurd populated area. And other people say they're just like a tribe of Persians, right? Just like their own tribe of Persians. So it's like, see, when you say they were considered Arab, like who's considering them Arab? Themselves? Is it like the Pan-Arabists who are drawing like these greater Pan-Arabia borders or whatever? Like, it's not even about what you're saying. I'm just confused on the language. We have time, so I gave him like 10-15 minutes, so if that doesn't happen, then I think I'm just closing down shop. This was a successful stream, bro. We picked at 16, bro. Fucking insane. Yeah. I would play a game, but I don't know. I'm not even gonna say it. Big growth, Isaac. Yeah, dude, I got like 6 subs, bro. It's fucking insane. I don't know. That makes it sound sad, but damn. That is a W, bro. I gotta do this more frequent. Maybe Labor Day we'll do something. But I can't, you can't count this for every single stream, right? Because this was like, hey, yo, the thumbnail was incredible, right? Shout out to Prism, shout out to RTSG, right? The thumbnail was incredible. And B, this is just like a big, everyone wants to, hear about, what's going on with Hakim, so, I mean, that's why. So we have to account for that. But other than that, progressive growth, man. This is, this will definitely be cut up, I guess, with the YouTube people. But for now, it's going to be, because I know it messes up your algorithm when you just keep YouTube streams up. So we're going to have to, but I'll cut it up probably by tomorrow, maybe. But yeah, but incredible, like, thumbnail, bro. That shit's goated. But what else? I don't know. What I want to start doing is getting some ML content creators on. Like, I understand people like that. I'm not talking about like, big people, right? Like, we'll never, ever in the near future get like Yugopnik or even like Hakim, right, to just address all of this shit. We'll never get that big in the near future. But people in my periphery, people close to me, people I like personally, I want to get them, bro. I want to start talking to them, on stream, because the Ethio communist conversation, I loved it, dude. I loved editing it. I loved putting it out there. I loved how I thought of it, so very much supportive about how that shit turned out. But yeah, 24 likes, bro. That's bigger. That's more bro. That's more likes than the fucking the cut up Ethio 26 video. And that shit's ended. No, Ruin. Excuse me. It's actually embarrassing. Ruin said, I want Ruin on because it's gonna be dope, right? I want to hear what he has to say, and I want to know. I want to know the man behind the Mengistu PFP, right? And well, I'm not gonna actually see his face, but I want to hear the voice behind the PFP. But yeah, Ruin will be coming. He says he's like charging his phone and AirPods or whatever. But yeah, I'll give him like 10 more minutes, and if not, then yeah. Hmm. Yeah, man, that's yeah. My AirPods, 10 minutes. Yeah, no problem, bro. I actually want to talk to you. Yeah, no problem. Just oh no, like how long will 10 minutes extend your talking? Cause I don't know how long we're gonna talk for. I don't know if it's gonna be for an hour, maybe a little bit less, but. Bro, you're the one asking to come on the stream, bro. It's not my what? I don't know, dude. Like, I'll just have you on, bro. We'll just talk. We'll find a topic to talk about. But it's your choice. I'll let you do your choice. There's nothing about China. That's just gonna make it. That's such a big topic that's like it's not worth, you know. I fuck around and play Rumble on one stream. Do you put me on? What do you mean put me on? Are you in? Oh shit. Alright. Let me call you on Discord. Just turn off the sound like that. Alright, I'm gonna call you right now. Yo. What's up?
Hello, can you hear me well?
Yeah, I can hear you.
How well is my
Sorry?
audio?
Your audio is good. Wait, let's move to the server so I can like. Yeah, let's just move to the server. If you don't mind.
All right, give me one.
Yeah. Let's get this set up, bro. The legend himself. This is you guys want to see this. We're gonna
rooting up here, but he disconnected.
yeah, bro. What are you doing?
You have 2 viewers right now.
I do? That's embarrassing, bro. Damn, bro, that's the decline.
I think it's a good stream though. We had an hour-long stream.
Yeah, I just want rooting on it. If not, dude, like, what is he doing?
Oh, we back up to 5 now?
Oh shit.
6 now? What the fuck?
Yo, Rootin, what's up, man?
Oh, bro, why does he keep leaving? Alright, Rootin, hello?
Stay.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Perfect. Yeah, I'm in PC USA, so I guess I'm gonna be late to the second Congress. I wanted to make it for this.
Wait, what?
Yeah, I'm in PC USA.
Oh shit.
Yeah, they're pretty decent. I have like, I don't know. I haven't felt them in yet, but they seem like a decent party.
Yeah.
The guy Halali is a guy you should really model yourself on as an ML running for Congress. Because we had a guy that was running, he got about he was like 4th place with only like I think a couple like $2,000 in donation money. his opponent had like hundreds of thousands, and he somehow beat them, like in terms of votes.
Yeah.
Like he got like, yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and then right when that happens, IWW, all these ANCOM, Red. Well,
Oh, you're cutting it.
That's what happened with. Sorry. Give me a
No,
second.
you're good. No, but yeah, no need to apologize.
Yeah. Hey, what is Haas's problem, Infrared's problem with Luna Oi in Colin Morin?
All right, so this is when I understand he has no beef with and it's weird like talking as a man for another man's business, but when he has no beef with Luna Oi, it's just I guess the people should surround himself with like Bay Area. He just doesn't like Bay Area.
Or her.
Like, that's where like that.
No,
whole,
Bay Area. Everyone hates him.
The Bay
Everybody
Area
hates
stuff
that
had
guy.
to do with Bay Area like banning Caleb Maupin from I think some Reddit. I don't know. I'm not very familiar with this stuff, but
the problem with Caleb Maupin is that he's one of those people who's been in ML for a long time.
Yeah.
You think that being like a disciplined ML, it's cost, so he tries to like soothe his rhetoric so that like normies can understand Marxism-Leninism. But it's like he's made some wacky fucking positions. But I only think of it as like his way of trying to reach the masses, which I respect him for. But he has like, I can't tell whether he has a take or he's trying to create something like, he's like Bernie basically. He's trying to like woo in people in the center. But I will say that there's like a massive wave of like this character assassination against him. That's why like I hold back from criticizing him. You know? It's like
I know what you mean about that. Yeah, there's way too much people making too much of a big deal on
the West media.
Yeah, there's just way too much people like
will portray ironic good faith.
Actually, that's not gonna work.
Yo, it's silent on my end. Oh shit! Sorry.
Yo, Ethio, you have a conversation going on right now.
Yeah, we do.
Yo, what's going on? Sorry, I had work.
Nah, man, you're good. And we got the whole gang here, bro. We got on each side of the spectrum, bro. We got Ethio.
I'm not on the stream. I don't know what's going on. I don't know what we're talking about.
We just wrapped up the Hakim convo right now. Yeah. I don't really know what the topic of the stream is right now, but yeah, we kind of wrapped up the Hakim breakdown.
Yeah. The thing about Hakim is that like I almost thought he was, when I watched the stream, because Hadise mentioned it, I thought he was going to make like a TPLF, Shabia talking point where, they still kept the politics of the empire intact. And it's like, no, that's socialist patriotism. Like they believed in Ethiopian unity as a means to unite the working class along different ethnic lines. They weren't trying to just be Bonapartists with their nationalism.
Yeah.
If you look at
Manan Dome was a Bonapartist, for example, right? Like we're very lucky we didn't get that guy.
Especially Teferi Benti. Benti was like a suck them. In fact, if you read the Carter papers, they used to Mengistu and Atsnafu Abeti, they used to talk shit about the US. And Benti would go to the US embassy and go on a phone call with Gerald Ford and apologize, they're just adventurous, they're young guys. Because Mengistu was in his mid-30s when he came there. He was a very young guy.
Yeah.
I mean, from what I saw from the clip, my issue with Hakim's analysis with African socialism, Ethiopian socialism is there's I'm not sure if you guys talked about it, but there's a jarring lack of how imperialism and how neocolonialism played a role in the destruction
not
of
to
African
mention
socialism and Ethiopian socialism.
And not to mention the fucking Sino-Soviet split. That's not researched at all. For example, and I don't want to make this
don't make it the debate stream. Don't make it the debate stream.
Yeah, I don't want to debate stream. But I would say that, for example, Romania, when Ceausescu started moving away from the USSR, he used to give military aid to Somalia. People don't know that. Or he would give support to Mobutu Zaire, and then just to slight the Soviet Union, not because he ideologically believed, oh,
Yeah.
Siadabare, Mobutu were progressives. He's like, no, your guys are anti-Soviet. Here's weapons I can sell to you.
Yeah.
Like,
No,
Yeah.
yeah. Ceausescu,
yeah,
and I think Mao was correct in the sense of, yeah, Khrushchev was very bad, but Mao's
yeah. You could
actions
look at,
as a response, that was like a little bit immature, and he really stifled.
I would say you gotta look at Che Guevara's criticisms of Khrushchev because he's at least good faith about it, like in his actions. Like, for example, he worked with Maoists in Bolivia, and like even anarchists in Congo or like Suckdems in Congo because he
I
acted.
don't think they were. I don't even think they were anarchists.
Huh?
I don't think they were anarchists.
No, I'm saying that there were leftists of every stripe in the Congo when Lumumba was in power, and Che Guevara basically trained anyone who wanted to fight against Mobutu because he had a discipline like anti-imperialism. Because Laurent Kabila, Joseph Kabila's father, he used to be like a leftist, and then he became a Maoist. But he already praised China as his model, like when he used to be a rebel leader in South Kasai, and
Oh
he
yeah,
used to
yeah.
work. People forget about that. Like South Kasai used to be like a Maoist Rojava, basically. Like it was its own state within a state. And Guevara, he had like a lot of criticisms, but he's like still said, Kabila has problems, but I still support him. Resistance against Mobutu. Like that's a pretty rational thing. You know what I mean? Like if in the thing is like a lot of those countries, I feel like after Khrushchev, it created this culture of like there had to be an economic element to the relationships the Soviet Union fostered. Like the Soviet Union made us pay ridiculous amounts of weapons, which Che Guevara used to like back in the day criticize the Soviet Union on. Like if you ideologically support me, you should give us, you should not like charge us like it's Walmart. You know what I mean?
I'm sorry.
Yeah, like
I'm just tinkering with the stream.
I don't know, bro. I think it would have been. I think just kind of like what Etu said earlier. I don't think Hakim should have put out a statement on African socialism without reading into it a little bit more. And I'm not. This is
Yeah.
not. I'm not. I'm not trying to like. I'm not trying to like start anything. I'm just. This is just me like talking about like what he talked about on that stream. Like how like any sort of, like I said, any sort of analysis that comes with the history of African socialism has to also include the fact that African socialism was constantly under sabotage. Whether it's Marxist-Leninist countries in Africa, whether it's Nyerere-esque like African socialist countries that had more indigenous traits to it, which Hakim said there wasn't any Nyerere proof that's not the case. I think
I hate that shit though, to be honest.
What?
No, I said I hate that shit when people LARP about indigenous socialism, like Infrared talked about it, because like you have to remember indigenous groups can have their own opportunistic and individualist objectives. Like the Sandinistas in Nicaragua, like if you go on the Discord, on Hadisa's Discord, De Luzista, I don't know how to say his name, but he went like pretty in depth and very educated, like how he explained it to me. Like the Sandinistas had a problem with the Mosquito Indians, not because they were enemies of socialism, but because like they were their own like comprador class, like managerial class. Just like how if America became socialist, there would be a lot of black business owners that would try to like be against it and try to play up a race kind of thing, like, oh, we're just black entrepreneurs, we're black wealth makers, Black Wall Street. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
there's a weirdness in
Yeah, like the
black
whole like black
indigenous
capitalism
socialists.
thing.
Yeah, go on.
I said like it's like the whole black capitalism thing. Like they try to, I guess, inject capitalism, this already existing struggle, right? Which is the African American struggle, and also against capitalism as well. Like it's just unnecessary, and it's like it's detrimental.
Oh yeah, and the thing is, those who are like really horny about indigenous socialism, they never talk about those kinds of things. Like they'll hype up Marcus Garvey. Marcus Garvey was like to the right of every black intellectual, I would say, in general, because he like basically had this I guess it's like equivalent to the white man's burden, like, oh, we're gonna go back to Africa and we're gonna develop Africa. We're gonna ignore the 150 million people who are struggling against colonialism, but since we live in America, we're way more educated and we can bring them out of destitution. It's just like the white man's burden, but to the ideological like benefit of black people. And there's no discourse on black academia about it. Maybe leftists like Adolf Reed, if you've ever read him, or sometimes Jacobin will talk about it, but like the Black Panther Party, they never covered it. You know what I mean? And that's why I think a lot of black nationalism, it's very ideologically like it's a mishmash. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, I think I might have to disagree a little bit here. Not with regards to like how you analyze Marcus Garvey, right, and black capitalism, because I do think like Marcus Garvey, you can look in his own writing. He was anti-communist, and like you can find that for yourself, right? But I do think there is like within like movements like the Black Panther movement and whatnot, even if they didn't address I'm not. I mean, and again, I don't even know for certain if they did or not the nature of Marcus Garvey. Even if they did or didn't, like I still think those movements in of themselves have done wonders in comparison to like many other movements within like the West itself. Like let's be honest, is there really a leftist movement that has existed that has done anything better than what the Black Panthers have done? I would argue.
Oh,
no.
I agree. Yeah,
I would
yeah.
argue
Yeah,
no.
I'm with you
And the
on
thing
this.
is,
I think the
yeah,
Panthers
go on.
were quite literally just too busy to focus on Garvey, like that intellectual
Yeah, the
debate on
priority for
Garvey.
the
Like they
Black
had
Panthers was not like
they had the
yeah
entire
the
FBI, they had the police, they had like every single racist segregationist group on their ass.
yeah like the priority for the Black Panthers was not like okay, um, let's talk about these specific people. The priority for the Black Panthers was establishing a revolutionary movement within the Black community and to uplift Black people from the socioeconomic conditions via socialism, right? That was their priority, and of course, like they were constantly under siege as well, and they had to deal with that too.
Oh,
So like I think with regards to that, it's a little. Of course, there's going to be like these ideological like issues within organizations like Black Panther Party. Like we saw what happened with Eldridge Cleaver and Huey Newton, like that split that occurred. But I still think putting that aside, like those movements still are pretty like powerful in that regard, and how they've contributed to our understanding of organization, socialism, and whatnot.
yeah, I completely agree. I mean, I would say that even their ideology, it kind of was appealed to, and I think the reason that was is because they had to what's it called? They had to basically there was this element of populism, I'll put it that way. Like the later years of the Black Panthers, they then became gradually more leftist, but they were originally like a left populist, left nationalist movement. You know what I mean? They're kind of like, how can I compare it? They're kind of like they're like the Indian Congress. Like at first nationalists, and then when they come into power, their ideology changes. Obviously, not like the Indian National Congress, but the moment they had like some form of legitimacy within the community, then they became more left wing and more like ideologically, like their ideology was more visible.
Like
It wasn't
I mean,
populistic.
I think
like
even their
basically
founding, they're
Castro.
always leftist
No,
because they
they
always
were.
be.
I'm saying
Yeah,
they appealed to the populist,
Yeah,
Black Power movement, and then they became leftist more gradually.
I mean, yeah, wasn't the Black Power movement itself was very at least like left wing.
No. I agree. I'm saying
I
that
don't know
like,
about left wing, but it was
Because
economically
you had
populist.
Black Power was like like Kwame Ture type, like Stokely Carmichael calling
I mean,
oh
it.
Black Power.
yeah.
Oh, okay, well, yeah. If you mean that, but Black Power,
Yeah,
you could say it started off with Garvey, right? Or
yeah.
or even Du Bois. Probably Du Bois is
Garvey more
better.
coined like the concept of like black nationalism, back to Africa movement.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
the modern Black Power was like 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 Pan Africanist socialists like Stokely Carmichael, who later became known as Kwame Ture. That was, I think he coined that term, I believe. Black Power. So
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, if it has to, yeah, like the Black Power movement in the 60s and the New Left, they were all, as they were like the 60s and whatever, they were part of that era. But I mean, I would guess I would kind of agree with what, if you read anything about the PCUSA or the CPUSA's take on it, is that they were just of their time, because once the 60s ended, that's when you saw them kind of disintegrate slightly over time. And I'm not trying to deny COINTELPRO played a role in it, but the
huge
people
role.
that were in the
Huge role, yeah.
no, it was the main role. It's the main reason, not to
Yeah,
mention infiltration. But what I'm saying is that the discipline amongst the cadre within the Black Panther Party started to wane. You saw the Black Peace Stone Rangers. You saw even some of them join the Nation of Islam. And over time, because what also became popular is Islam within the Black Power movement. There's a lot of Black Panther leaders that changed their names to Islamic ones over time, because the Nation of Islam in the 80s and 90s, most nationalisms, whether it was black or white or any ethnic group, became, I think if you look at the 80s and 90s, it became reactionary. It was really
Yeah.
like, people were angry. I don't know
And
why. I don't research deep. Like, that's when the new Black Panther Party, you have to remember, came
yeah.
along. That's when
Oh
the
yeah, that's true. That's
David
like
Duke was like super popular in the 80s and 90s, is because that's when people went nuts.
And also
People were like hyper reactionary.
churches started stepping back into like the uh
Yeah,
the black liberation movements, black nationalism. You know, like during like
yeah,
I guess the leftist period with like the Panthers. It was, from what I recall, it was a very secular movement, right? There was no interaction with the church, even though back then like the black church, I guess, was societally a very important thing. Well, it still is important, but it's societally like a progressive force. But in the 80s and 90s, I'm pretty sure there was something like the faith-based initiative, right, where like then a lot of black churches started just like saying like, yo, let's work with like let's work with the Democrats and stuff like that, right? Like Al Sharpton and stuff like that, Jesse Jackson, and like all that stuff started. I'm pretty sure they started going, like they started really becoming popular in the 80s and 90s as well. Like all those like pastors and stuff like that that tried like,
Yeah, Sharpton with like the March for 1 million or something
yeah,
like
the
that.
Million Man
Yeah,
March.
yeah. That was
The,
highly reactionary.
the million, yeah, I was about
right.
to say like the Million Man
That was
March is like the
chauvinistic
zenith
as hell.
of like
That's
all of the
where
reactionary
that's
black nationalism. Because you had
yeah.
like the
That's
Nation of
where
Islam,
the
you had the churches, you had all that. Yeah, go ahead.
yeah. That's where all the hoteps and the ankhs, which I would say basically they're the first alt right before the real alt right, whereas they came from predominantly leftist spaces, and then they use the aestheticism, they use the language, but they use it for reactionary means. The same way that when David Duke and all these white power movements, they copied leftist movements in terms of like social organizing. Like, for example, the KKK almost had their equivalent of what democratic centralism was. There were central committees and everything, regional um, regional branches would have mutual aid like anarchists, you know what I mean? So in a lot of ways they kind of copied leftists in terms of organizing, but in terms of the black community, like the new Black Panther Party, the Black Israelites, a lot of them took advantage of the decline and collapse of the Black Panthers, because if you look at their rhetoric, you know who they're paying homage to. Like even some Israelites will like wear berets and wear black like a Black Panther, because they're playing up to that aesthetic of attacking the man, even though they're using it for reactionary means.
Hmm.
You know.
Damn, what were we supposed to talk about, Hakeem? Or are you all already finished talking about
Oh
Hakeem?
yeah.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
mean,
we talked about
well,
Hakeem, but we can go over.
supposedly in. Yeah, I mean, fuck. since we're all Ethiopians, do you want to talk about Ethiopia? I don't know.
I'm down. I'm down.
I mean, what? Sorry,
I've
Prism.
told Prism a lot about Ethiopia. But
Do you know TPLF? They're losing right now. They're on the retreat.
Yeah, I saw a map of it. I can post it here, and it can put it on the stream. Hold up.
Is that from Ethiopia Map on Twitter?
I think so. It's a Google Doc.
Yeah. No, that's him. They just showed a lot of cities near Lalibela are being encircled by Amhara security forces. They're encircled by Amhara security and ENDF.
VC text, it's there. You can like put it up on the stream.
Yeah, I kind of like to compare in my mind the TDF's advance in Amhara and Afar. It's kind of like the Nazi Blitzkrieg. Like they were winning at first, but they ended up doing a lot of shitty things that ended up riling the domestic population against them.
Basically, yeah, like, that, and also they just went down like a road, basically, right? So
yeah, they didn't even hold territory.
Like that's what happened at Debre Tabor. Like they just had no food, and now they're on the retreat. No,
and the Debre Tabor residents just fought back. Yeah. That's the same in Debre Zebet. They just like, here's what happened. Because if you know Woldia, they fought without the police, the regional police, or the army, and they held the city for like almost a month before giving up.
Yeah, dude. So
but what's happening?
Getting recaptured is huge. Like that's actually.
You know why? You know why that's important? That's where the whole Agawi, the Agawi Liberation Front. They're Yeah, they're not the real one though. They're like a puppet one because the old Agawi Liberation Front.
There's no like big resistance. It's just all of these things other than the OLA. It's all just
puppet, proxies.
Yeah, they just puppet liberation armies from the TPLF. That's how synthetic
the
thing is.
The SPLF, the Somali People's Liberation Front, they declared war on Ogaden. They declared a what's it called? They said that they have a non-aggression pact with ONLF because they know Ogaden Liberation Front. They can smell the fucking coffee. Like you're just proxies for TPLF. Like the old Somali Liu Haile are now SPLF leadership. Isn't that funny?
Do you think the OLA will do something? Will be like significant?
I don't think.
The thing honestly,
is, I don't know, bro.
The only gains they made was because of the fall of Mekelle, and that gave every ethno-nationalist it gave them a big boner. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like everyone got hard. They didn't have any territorial claims or territorial control because now all hands on deck in Tigray. But now that they're losing, either the Amhara regional forces will crush them in Oromo zone, and then that'll demoralize them. Because the OLA, like the OLF, their main role is to capture the Oromo zone in Amhara. Because if you look at the greater Oromia map, it includes Oromo zone.
Yeah.
And it plays up to a big hypocrisy because there are more ethnic special zones in Amhara than there is in any region in Ethiopia except southern nations. Like we have an Agawi special zone, we have an Agorba special zone, we have an Oromo special zone. Somali region, Afar region.
I hate ethnic federalism, bro.
Yeah.
Bro, why is that a thing, bro?
It was never welcomed in the first place. When 1992 happened and the transitional government came, they literally told people you will not be allowed to take part in the federal government or be part of the elections unless you have an ethnic party.
Yeah.
They forced the people.
Opposition.
Yeah. Even the Workers' Party was banned. That's
I know,
the irony.
Dude, they got to remake that. The Workers' Party.
Oh.
You guys know how Infrared says CPUSA 2036 for Workers' Party of Ethiopia 2036.
I don't know about that. I feel like Ethiopia is gonna balkanize before that. I genuinely believe that.
How? We're winning.
I think
we are winning, but you're gonna have a balkanized idea.
The Ethiopian,
movement.
I think the Ethiopian state needs to reconcile with the fact that they've already put they've never genuinely solved the issues that existed within the ethnic communities that existed within Ethiopia, and in fact have resulted in more divisions, as we've seen to TPLF taking power, caused more divisions within ethnic communities. And then now we're seeing with this war, we're seeing more continuation of that stuff that has lasted since like what, the monarchy, like all these like ethnic problems that we're having in the country. And like the Ethiopian state hasn't really resolved any of them. So I think if it doesn't do something soon, you know, we
It
might
might become like a
we,
USSR, to be honest.
like, I
Like
mean,
literally more than
yeah,
Yugoslavia.
I think any sort of Ethiopian socialist movement has to take into account the fact that like everyone who was a part of an ethnic group that has been like, you know, oppressed or marginalized by the Ethiopian state is probably gonna be, you know, more for autonomy or whatnot. Like, and that's something that any Ethiopian socialist movie has to address, you know. And like that's just the reality of the situation in Ethiopia, right? Like it's gotten to a point that, you know, like there's gonna be only a few paths for Ethiopia to take.
Yeah, because my take on it is like I'm more likely to see like, because there's Ethiopian Social Democratic Party, which was very decent because it was a critique of the TPLF. If you know about that, I feel like Ethiopia in 26 you probably would know since you're like well versed, but it was like a social democratic party, like a social democratic labor party, when you know what I mean. Like they're to the
Yeah,
left,
like
but they can't call
Lenin's
themselves
party was like the
leftist.
Social
I
Democratic.
think I remember. I think I heard of
Yeah,
these guys.
it's led by Bayene Petros. His dad was the famous
Oh
pilot that
yeah,
got
yeah.
captured.
I
Yeah,
actually
he
know
was a
about that.
leftist, and he led the Medric. He was the ideological being behind Medric, which was a left-wing opposition
But
to
Medric was we're ethno-federalists though. That's the thing.
yeah, that's no, and that's because they couldn't. I don't think they would have been able to succeed nowadays if they left the If they said we were civic nationalists like Kinjit, because
Oh,
Kinjit they were like, you guys are breaking the constitutional order,
Yeah, I
and
don't
just
think
that's
I don't think you can
that.
really run as like I may have like a party that operates on like, you know, like
Yeah,
central, like that kind of thing. Like even
the
Abi,
close. Go on.
like Abi's like policies and stuff, like how it's like all trying to move everything closer to Addis. Like if he actually ran on a party level, like I'm pretty sure like it, like I mean, obviously he
People would
ran,
hate that shit.
but obviously he like ran in like you know this year, and like it worked out for him. But like if he was like actually more open about like his actual policies and whatnot, as he's starting to become more and more so, like he wouldn't. I don't know if he could last for real, because
yeah.
like people that think that's popular right now is like because like the bourgeoisie within the respective, you know, regions and stuff are all pushing for ethnic federalism and whatnot. So that's what's, you know,
Yeah.
the people are gonna
What?
start like, you know, reflecting upon that. And that's why, you know, you'll see a lot of people online be like, oh, you know, I think federalism good, you know, this and that and the third.
Oh yeah,
But
because
like that's not
you
the
know
case.
they even call the OG and those ethnic federalists. They'll say like the Ethiopian flag is the Dirk flag if you don't have the fucking pentagram on it. And I'm like,
Dude,
dude,
you know like
you're so
WoW,
fucking stupid.
you know
Like,
for
how
a
do you believe
while,
that shit?
the TPLF banned flying the Derek flag, and I'm pretty sure flying any flag with the emblem cut out. They just try to like
Yeah.
manufacture just this new culture that and it fell flat on his face, thankfully. But
Yeah.
it was
I
I
don't
just
think
I
that whole
I
did
think the
anything.
closest left wing movement we'll ever get is like a Bolivarianism, like a left wing nationalism. And
yeah,
instead of Solomon Bolivar, we'll have like Tedros. But I feel like a Romo
yeah,
nationalist, Tigray
yeah,
nationalist would be like, oh, this is a Maraism. Because Menelik is a fucking he's too fucking controversial
yeah,
and
definitely. Like,
he
yeah,
has
he
too
helped
much
us in
weight.
Adwa,
Menelik
but
has
Oromos
Menelik,
hate
bro,
him for like
like
right reasons, right?
I think the
And I'm
legacy of
saying that
Ethiopia.
as an Amara.
Yeah,
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 I think the legacy of Ethiopia, like its history and everything, that's something like I've said this joke and I'll say it again. There's a People's History of the United States book. We definitely need a People's History of Ethiopia book. Like,
yeah.
You're
you
the
know,
second Ethiopian leftist to say that. It's not even funny. The
bro,
problem
like
is you're gonna see
we
some
need
Oromo nationalist write it, and then it's gonna be on every like Al Jazeera. He's gonna be on Al Jazeera 24/7. That's like, well, every time they talk about Ethiopian history, they'll have this Oromo or Tigrayan academic say, "Oh, the evil Neftenyas. They're the reason why we can have multi-ethnic federalism. They're
it's
fascist
not
or whatever." It's
I'm
like,
not
come
saying
on,
have
bro.
an analysis
Not
of like the
you,
Ethiopian. Oh yeah, no, but I'm
not
just
you.
saying
I'm just saying. You know what I mean?
like I see like why there'd be concerns for like because obviously yes, there's gonna be because there's a thing in Ethiopia where it's just like political figures, political parties, because it's so intertwined with ethnicity. It's like if I criticize TPLF, I'm attacking Tigrayan people, which is not the case, right?
Yeah.
If I'm
That's the
criticizing
problem.
Menelik II, I'm not attacking Amara or or the Amara people as it is, right? Like I'm not doing that if I'm criticizing Menelik II. But what I am doing is I'm criticizing a politician or political official. And
no, we don't have
Ethiopia,
that anymore these days.
Yeah, in Ethiopia, it's really just like if I say anything bad about Prosperity Party, right? If I'm like, I hate Prosperity Party because they're neoliberals and all they do is privatize shit and they suck, right? If I said that, I'm probably gonna be like, bro, why you hate Amara? Why do you support Amara genocide? Which is like, no, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that I don't like Abiy Ahmed because Abiy Ahmed is a neoliberal. It's pretty straightforward.
And you want to know what's funny?
That's
you
what
want to, and I'm
right,
saying
dude,
this
with Bolivarianism in Ethiopia. Like me and Ethio26 knew this guy. His account has been deleted for some reason. We haven't been able to contact him since. But we knew this guy who was like our age, and his name was Guy Roon, right? And he was this Ethiopian ML, and he was basically saying this new generation of Ethiopians, right? People like our age, right? Like 18 to like 25 maybe, right? That this new generation of Ethiopians, they don't give a fuck about ethnicity. Like they just like they see how bad ethnic federalism has done to this country, right? Like that's why like he was saying like now more than ever people like Mengistu, but who they also like they have a picture of Mengistu, but right next to the picture of Mengistu, who do they have? They have Tewodros. You know what I'm saying? Like the nationalism of Ethiopia, because Tewodros is a great nationalist figure, right? Like you can use him for nationalism, right? But then Mengistu actually put that in practice. So there will be a new movement once we see like the war end, because the Tigray War is it's the fallout of ethno-federalism, right? This is like the worst it could have gotten. It has happened now, right? So if Ethiopia survives this new generation that, and by the way, the guy we were talking about like lives in Ethiopia, right? So he's like, after the war, and if Ethiopia sticks together for like 5 years, there will be like a new movement, you know what I'm saying, that will venerate Mengistu and also just venerate socialism as like the answer of the problems of Ethiopia, you know?
Because even now, a lot of these I research a lot of Amhara State because that's where I'm from, and I really, you can, if I say some like hot take shit and like it's wrong, be more than welcome to like critique me. But even in Amara State, like if you go on the state television, AMC, Amara Media Corporation, they don't even show Abiy Ahmed's image because he's that unpopular. They'll either show Tedros or General Antamacho Tzigi. He was a general in Amhara police, and he was against. Yeah, he was killed in a coup. They blamed him for the coup, but he had no role in it. Yeah, it was a purge.
Yeah.
And what's funny is the police chief that replaced him, Abara Ademyu, he said, "Oh, if it wasn't for us overthrowing Tsiki, there would have been a insurrection. So we removed him. What's it called? Before he could have been a problem." But the thing that he argued against was economic nationalism, because most of Ethiopia's land, from all of what I've read, is foreign owned. It's not even owned by Ethiopians. So we're probably going to see.
He sold everything.
Yeah. Starbucks would like cease to exist if we nationalized all of our coffee. Like that company is built on the exploitation of our coffee.
Coffee is one of the highest, I think, exports out of Ethiopia right now. Like
we
have a lot of coffee farms.
No, like
we sell a lot of coffee to foreign countries.
Exports, I'm pretty sure, or some crazy.
Yeah,
and you know what's funny?
It's 80%
we make up.
Workers.
We contribute to 10% of coffee. Coffee consumption comes from Ethiopia, but we only receive like a tenth of it.
Yeah, dude. Like there was like this big scandal. Well, it's not even a scandal. It's like it's the reality of like capitalism, right? Like.
Right. Like, it's just exploitation of a global South nation. That's
really like if you guys have ever been to Starbucks, right? There's one like in like a mall, man. Like I was just curious, right? So I looked, right, and there's like bags of you know the BS, right? Like Abyssinian coffee, like Premier Abyssinian coffee, blah blah blah, right?
It's that's like not even our name on top of that,
right? It's like
it's not even our name.
Like, we know damn well they bought like thousands of pounds for like pennies to the dollar. You know?
And they probably throw a lot of it out also because,
Yeah,
it's
half
like
of all
the ban and
food,
shit.
half of all
Yeah.
food gets thrown out in the United States. Fucking
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like, it gets thrown out
It's
anyways.
literally, it's like production obsolescence. Like, they cannot allow any social safety net to exist by the government because a lot of countries, like in Japan, a lot of the governments where the Social Democratic Party, the Communist Party, they have rule. They have a thing where a lot of the food that's made is like the government will buy whatever like production surplus a company has, and they'll feed the poor with it. So in America, when the New Deal or Second Bill of Rights came in America, we almost had like a centrally planned economy with unions. But what ended up happening is the neoliberals that ended up taking over, and this is probably an anarchist and what is it called when you use something or use something in like a movie or in text that doesn't like exist at that time? And anachronism.
Yeah.
This may be an
No, not me.
anachronistic way to call it, but there were neoliberals who tried to hijack the reforms of the New Deal and make it more business friendly. But we were during the Work Progress administration, there was almost a centralization of grain. It almost happened, literally. But like these farmer business interests, like these big land barons, made it impossible for it to succeed.
Yeah.
Going back to the. Oh wait, sorry. No, you can go.
Yeah, I was just gonna like it just shows like the planned economy. It's like even especially at that time, it's just the most successful model. You know, it's literally the answer.
Yeah. What's y'all's opinions on the DPRK, or are we still talking about Ethiopia?
Yeah. Wait, Prism had something to say.
I was gonna ask. Do you all know what Eritrea, how it fits into the whole TPLF situation? Are they cooperating with the Ethiopian central government?
So Ethiopia and Eritrea have a defense act, and what happened is that the TPLF, they did some retard shit and they bombed Asmara, and Asmara, Eritrea used it as an excuse to like invade, even though they were in the right. Like I would believe that Eritrea, like, they're kind of taking advantage of a weak Ethiopia. It's kind of like the UAE keeping fucking Yemen unstable. It's because they benefit from it. That's not to say that a post TPLF Ethiopia where TPLF's wiped out is good, like the fucking the Kuomintang in fucking China. I'm not denying that, but you have to remember, like, if Ethiopia ever had like a strong government, a lot of countries would use Eritrea as a proxy, because that's what happened in TPLF. Egypt used to prop up Eritrea and give them military support, and then they switched when the peace was made. A lot of people don't research that, you know?
Yeah, basically, like, Eritrea and TPLF, when TPLF took power in Ethiopia, like, there's, like, a lot of, like, bad blood between the SAS's government and TPLF. Yeah, like, they had a border war, they had it, like, they just did not, like each other whatsoever.
300,000 people died, right? It was like...
Yeah.
And that was like...
Yeah. And there's, like...
Eritrea doesn't look at it as Ethiopia's action, they look at it as TPLF's action, right?
So yeah, that's how they view it. And maybe they viewed it as Ethiopia's before, but it's more like beneficial now to view it as, you know, TPLF's because of the new relationship with Ethiopia.
Yeah.
I'm not too sure about, you know, how Eritrea's like views changed on regards with that.
Because like the people who did the independence struggle, right, in Shabia, right, in like EPLF, it's like they're still in power, right? Like Isaias and stuff like that is like all the ruling leaders in general, like they all remember like the war and the independence war and all that sort of stuff. Like they have a lot of bad blood against the TPLF. And
and
when the Ethiopian-Eritrean war started, like Ethiopia should have just like kicked out all the Eritreans. Like they just rounded them all up and just sent them to Eritrea.
But but you also have to remember that, like, when Eritrea like took over Asmara like in '91, they deported like 500,000 Amharic speakers because that's who they defined as Ethiopians. And a lot of the Afars and the Amhara groups, they said, hey, if you do this, this would be bad because then there would be an ethnic cleansing. Afars were like big against Eritrean independence, especially the Afar rebel groups, because they were like, we're going to be split again, basically. Because when Djibouti got independence, Djibouti used to be the French territory of Afar and Issa, because that's what it was.
Yeah.
It was Afar and Issa land forced into one nation state.
Wasn't
It was a
wasn't the vote for
referendum for it to
Djibouti?
join Somalia.
Yeah, wasn't the
It was
referendum like
agreed.
most wanted to join with Somalia or something like
Yeah, the
that?
Somalis wanted it to be with Somalia, but then they only let like Afars and French people vote. So they could like have like this colony in like such a strategic location, right? So that's why Djibouti exists basically. And like the country doesn't care. Like they have like a 44% unemployment rate. Like they just don't care. Like they're just getting paid by the French
France.
to
I hate
exist.
France.
Yeah.
I hate France.
I mean, France
And
has been
then
the most
the
damaging country to Africa.
France is still the most damaging
They
country
still
to Africa.
maintain a neo-colonial empire in like
Yep.
West Africa and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep, they still do, and they're
It's so
still and they
egregious too,
yeah
because like France
they have
just
military
admits it. They're
there.
like, yeah, we use
They don't
Africa.
care.
We
Yeah,
depend on
they
it.
straight up just don't care. Yeah.
What are you gonna do?
And
about
people
it?
don't even know about like this straight up. It was like pretty much a genocide what they did in Algeria, and they're not even apologetic about it. Like they displayed the skulls of like Algerians in like some museum in France. Like it's
You
like
know, like in the French curriculum, right?
animalistic.
Like in the French curriculum, like they're taught like the benefits of colonialism. Like there was like a law in 2004 or something. I don't know if it was repealed, but like that just goes to show like, you know,
they're
is very
reactionary,
much a
dude.
colonial state.
Including
'Cause,
their
like,
party. You go on.
I was like, France is still a colonial state, right? Like decades ago when colonialism still existed, right? They literally did the same thing. It's like, yeah, you know, we're here to civilize them, blah blah blah. You know, it was literally called the civilizing mission, the French form of colonialism, right? And they're just repeating it now by like educating
France
the
still
students.
has colonies too.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
France still has like
Martinique.
New Caledonia,
Yeah.
Martinique,
French Guiana.
French Guiana.
The
They
home
still
of
have
France
colonies
is
too.
gone, bro.
Like
That's
New
there's
Caledonia has.
there's conversations that Bolsonaro is going to invade French Guiana and take it for Brazil. I think that'll be the funniest shit to happen in 2021.
What are they gonna
Bro,
do?
if that happens, bro. I don't know. I need to talk to my Brazilian comrades on that, bro. Like
Now they're gonna love
that sounds
Bolsonaro to
unreal.
the end of time.
Bro. But like I was gonna say, like, since we're talking about France, like I always talk about this part because not a lot of people talk about Oceania and the Pacific Islands and whatnot. But New Caledonia has been constantly trying to vote for their independence. I think this year they're gonna have another independence referendum. But what's been happening is that the French basically like just decimated the indigenous population, the Kanak people on the island. So right now it's like the indigenous people are kind of like a minority in their own indigenous home,
it's mostly like
and
mixed.
the majority of people are like, the majority are like the French settlers, the French settlers and maybe like mixed French settlers and basically just French people are the majority there, right? So when they always vote for like referendums and shit, what would happen is that it would always come out as no. And of course there's like fraud and stuff, and there's also like instances where like the French would, get rid of independence activists, like, and I think they did in like the 70s for New Caledonia.
Doesn't New
and
Caledonia
it's like
produce like insane amount of like aluminum?
Yeah, that's
uranium.
Uranium and nickel.
Sorry, yeah.
I think uranium. I think nickel also.
Yeah, nickel, like a huge
Copper,
amount of production
too.
of nickel.
They have a lot of minerals on that island, and that's why France wants to keep them, because they could just it's basically a colony. They can just exploit them and just keep it doesn't matter to them
there's
because
like a distinction between like a regular state in France and like an overseas department, right? I mean, know if that's true or not.
It's basically just colony and the colony, like the colonial owner, right? That's just basically the relationship.
Yeah, it's not even like I mean, it is a neo-colonial state, but yeah, France is straight up like literally persists with colonialism.
Yep.
Today,
it really comes also down to like the failures of the 1848 revolution to define their nation states, because if you look at each country when they had their 1848 revolution, most of the leadership were like progressive and anti-colonialist in nature. So like take Italy, since we're Ethiopians. Giuseppe Garibaldi was anti-slavery. Like he even offered Lincoln to send soldiers to fight with the Union against the Confederates because he felt the plight of He felt the plight of black people, and he offered to like send 20,000 Italians who just fought for unification. And That's why I think I told, like, I don't know if I told E2 or Hedese or you guys are the both
We're
same
the
person,
same
but
people.
Ethiopia has not had, we have not had an 1848. That's the problem. Like, you guys said, like, we need a people's history. We need an 1848, you know what I mean? On a cultural level.
Yeah.
Because, like, contemporary nationalisms in Hungary, in Ethiopia, no, in Italy and all that, they already attacked what nationalism, what the nation state of their countries were, especially in Germany. Because Germany, there was no Germany before those revolutions. It was just Bohemia, Bavaria, etc. But another thing that's really liberals, and I like to, people who bastardize Fanon's work, is that they like to claim that nationalism is like a European phenomenon. It's like, no, it fucking isn't. That's such a, like, that itself is neo-colonialist, because you're implying that, like, Africans, South Americans, and Asians, they can't practice nationalism like the good white people can.
Yeah.
Because we're gonna fuck it up. We're gonna just like
it goes even too far.
We're gonna
like
shoot our arrows at
like,
the wrong people, basically.
Yeah, even if you push like you know, like people on BreadTube or anyone like on like the nature of nationalism, they'll go so far as to say, like, you know, Global South and like the national movements that have had, you know, elements of nationalism are bad, but they won't explain why. They'll just straight up say, like, so like Vietnam's movement, like people like, or I mean, I don't hear a lot of people talk about like Vietnam's movement being bad.
Oh,
but, like,
I had a
nationalism
Nigerian...
with it.
Go on. No, go on.
I was gonna say, like, people always like to say like just nationalism within the Global South is just bad, and that's because they don't really understand like what the difference is between like something like a left-wing anti-imperialist nationalism trying to form a country versus, like, you know, reactionary nationalism.
They're either like white or like they're very diaspora people who like just came.
Yeah, pretty much.
Oh, and they're the, like I said earlier, they're the people who jerk off about indigenous socialism. You know,
Rojava.
Rojava, yes, Rojava stands. And always like, oh, the Zapatistas, they have Zapatista hentai, like 10 gigabytes of it on their laptops. You know? They have like commissioned art of fucking Shining Paths.
Zapatistas are, I mean, they're chill. Like, I don't think they do anything.
They literally
that's
said
like
we're
inherent.
not libertarian socialists. We're like,
yeah.
Like,
they
the
don't,
only reason
it's just that they get co-opted way too much.
Yeah,
they get co-opted way too much.
The Zapatistas only exist is because both the cartels and the Mexican state don't see them as a real threat. Compare them to FARC or the ELN, and they look like betas in comparison. Like, ELN and FARC control entire swaths of the country.
Yeah.
Have you guys ever read about the
FARC
EPL?
kind of split, like, after the 2016 or 2017 peace agreement or something.
Other people were like, let's persist. But ELN is the one I'm looking at now. Like, I feel like they are like the real movement.
ELN's the people in Paraguay, right? Because I know there's some activity there.
EPL, they're a rebel group in Colombia.
Oh.
They actually are made up of...
ELN and there's two main communist rebels in Colombia. There's the FARC and like there's another group.
No, they're ELN.
Yeah, okay.
ELN's National Liberation Army.
Yeah.
And then the third one, it's smaller, it's EPL. And all three of them are at war with each other.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, ELN and FARC hate each other because ELN, they criticize FARC for their role selling drugs to fund their revolution. Whereas ELN, they're kind of like OG leftists. They stockpile weapons and they just hold small bits of territory here and there. Ironically, they practice Maoism better than FARC, though. Even though FARC is like a Guevarist, like Maoist. I
think FARC had a lot of splits within itself, also, though. So like there'd be like branches. There'd be parts of FARC that would actually be participating in, like, you know, the drug trade, but there's also parts of like the FARC that, you know, didn't. And I think my understanding of like FARC in Colombia was like FARC kind of like splintered off into a bunch of smaller groups, and they were all acting individually. But I'm not too educated on what's going on within Colombia. Feel free, anyone, to correct me.
No, that's true. No, that's completely true. In fact, there were one of their leaders was killed by a guy who was a Victor Montayo. He killed one of the, after Alfonso Cano one of the leaders of FARC over like a drug thing, and it ended up finding out that he was paid off by El Golfo cartel, which are basically the AUC, the right wing militia, into a cartel. And what happened is that a lot of leftists who got pissed off about the internal divisions, a lot of them got mad about the treatment of indigenous people in Latin America, in fucking Colombia. And that's where the EPL comes from. They're actually Hojist. They're numbered at like, I think 500,000, 500, not 500,000, what the fuck? Between 500 to 1,000. They are fighting ELN and FARC, but they fight FARC more because they see FARC as a pseudo-leftist group. They say, oh, you guys kill indigenous, you guys are anti-drug. They're more anti-drug than the ELN.
Yeah, but like my confusion comes from like I don't think FARC is like a unified thing anymore. So like
I don't really
understand who EPLN is fighting right now. Are they fighting just like splinter groups?
They're fighting faction. There's a group called 33 Frente or the 33rd Front. They're a wing of the FARC that refused to disarm, and they've been selling drugs and killing indigenous people. But the front, Timoshenko, he's the leader of FARC. Timoshenko, that's his name. He's named after the Soviet general. He's the leader of FARC.
Oh, okay. I was like, oh, whoa.
The Ukrainian name.
Yeah. He's named after Simeon Timoshenko, the Red Army general. But he has not. If he denounces 33 Frente, it would make the EPL look bad. And the EPL, they've been suffering a little bit of L's because their leader. By the way, the funniest leader for a guerrilla leader. He named himself Magneto.
What the hell? Like the guy from like the Wolverine.
Yeah, X-Men. His name's literally Magneto. And like he got assassinated by Colombian special forces. So now EPL, they don't even have like a unified leadership. They just have like a small central committee. But hey, do you guys know that Shining Path, they're back, man? They got a reboot.
Oh,
We
wow.
got a brand new season.
God damn.
Huh? I have to say, season 2 is not good as season 1, man.
To be honest, like my whole like view on like Gonzalo, it hasn't even been developed yet. To be honest, like I'm
Bro, I don't fuck Gonzalo. Sorry, Malice.
What about
Yeah,
Pol
I'll be
Pot?
honest, I don't know.
What about
that
Pol
much.
Pot?
Pol Pot.
I don't like Pol Pot
He
either.
was backed by the CIA, like
Yeah, I don't like Pol Pot
proxy
either.
against Vietnam.
Hey, do you wear glasses? Can I ask you that real quick?
I used to.
Nope.
You sure?
I'm not gonna answer that.
Sure.
Oh shit.
Bro,
Do you
Pol Pot,
need
Pol Pot was
anti-glasses?
just, Pol Pot was like, can we even call Pol Pot a socialist? Like, I don't even.
Yeah, he was a socialist. You know what kind of socialist? He was like a State Department kind of socialist, bro.
Bro, he was.
Yeah.
He was a CIA
TPLF?
socialist.
Do you know that TPLF, they used to do it? No, not the TPLF, Marxist-Leninist League of Tigray. They used to defend Pol Pot back in the day.
Really?
And they
I think a
followed
lot
an
of people used to
Albanian
defend Pol
line.
Pot.
And you know what's funny?
Like
Albania never actually recognized MMLT because they had like modest relations with the Derg, so then they just became national conservative. It's like a funny history not a lot of people research.
Wait, what's the organization called?
Marxist-Leninist League of Tigray. They were like a Hojist group, but Hoxha, he didn't recognize them. So they refused to recognize them and refused to invite them to the party congress. So they ended up having like a national conservative line, which they have now, ethnic federalists. That's the reason why they're not Marxist-Leninists anymore. It's not because they don't believe in it, it's because Albania refused to recognize them. Because Albania have every party congress, they have all of their recognized groups come to them. And TPLF was told to fuck off when they try to come to the second party congress. They literally told them to fuck off completely.
I was gonna say like I don't get how there are Pol Pot stands in the 21st century.
Yeah.
I don't really understand.
Well, a lot of them are just like
chance of being
clowns
a
who
Moses.
just
Yeah,
fuck
they're
they
usually
just
like
see like
larpers.
they just see like Pol Pot in a video game and think, oh look, it's like the meme ideology or something like.
Yeah. Do you wear glasses?
This is why
Do you wear
political education.
Anti-glasses gang, baby.
They're just like they're just like 14-year-old kids on Twitter
This is
that
why
have
political
nothing better to
education
do.
can't be coming from Reddit.
No, you can get your education from Lefty Pole.
You should.
Oh,
You should,
boy.
bro. That shit's
No, Lefty Pole is now a bunch of pedos now.
Yeah, you're
They
right.
Oh,
tried
what the hell?
to dox. They tried to dox and get infrared off of like every platform
Yeah,
because he has like a with them.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, what a fucking meme. That's the shit I don't like about like Lefty Pole is that they used to. That was the OG time. BreadTube didn't exist back then. It used to be the contemporary leftism was anarcho syndicalism. They made you think that that was the big lefty group. But then when leftists like Hakim and all these other left MLs came along, it later showed that ANCOMs were not that big as they showed. Because one, their organizations were so microscopic that they gave you the idea that America wasn't as left-wing as you thought. So PSL and all these other groups, they exploded. PSL, they got like what, 2,000 votes 2012, and then 2016 comes, they get 80,000. Now they have 110,000 votes 2020. And that's the thing. We saw an explosion of MLs because a lot of people, they got disassociated with anarcho-syndicalism and fucking democratic socialism. Like, that shit's cringe. Like, there are more PSL people right now than there are DSA people. The PSL people don't join because the PSL people are like imbeciles when it comes to joining. It's like a big circle jerk. You cannot join PSL unless you're best friends with somebody in the party. Like, that's their problem. You know?
Damn.
But yeah, I have a bad story if you want to talk about it, joining PSL. They're trash.
I was literally considering joining PSL.
In America.
Did they tell you that you have to be a candidate for like a year or so?
No, I didn't even do anything yet. I was like on the verge of considering it type stuff.
No, that's what you have to do. You have to be a candidate for a full year. And then they decide whether or not to make you a member. And then it takes like 5-6 years. It's like a multi-level marketing scam. Like, they just make you wait, do rallies with them. You have to protest with us. And I said, I was here during Hands Off Venezuela in 2019. I was there during the Mullah Abu Jamal. I did literally everything for you fucking people. And now you're going to...
You cut off. Yo, by the way, this is Sita. Bro, he's a friend of mine. Like, we met, like, I'm pretty sure before I even started doing YouTube, but like we both, because he really likes Mengistu, you know, like all of us, right? So he's a cool guy, you know. That's what he's. But yeah.
Yo, what's up?
What's up, bro? What's up?
Yo, it's cracking.
Nothing much, bro.
Yo, it's cracking.
We did the Hakim, like we announced the offensive against Hakim today, bro.
Bro.
Yeah, no, I saw the stream. I just wasn't in it because I was busy helping my mom with some stuff.
No,
is the stream off?
No, we have 10 viewers right now. Your stream's still up.
Oh, okay. I'm literally not. I'm not watching the stream right now, so I'm doing work as I'm talking to you.
Yeah, I'm playing Battlefront 2 as this stream's happening.
Damn.
Yeah. I think.
What were we talking about?
There's gonna be a lot.
We're talking about
because there's so much distance between videos, you know, like I gotta fill it with something in between. There's gonna be a lot more streaming.
We can do this to fill in the gaps if you're trying to do that.
That's what I'm saying. Like, that's the move, you know, just filling in the gaps.
Yeah.
Bro, you should go on Politically Provoked.
Debates? I don't know, man. Like, cause
Paz does good, but he what's it called? He just debates people who are like either they're sort of well known within the community, like Culture Thug, who's like a neo-fascist Hitler apologist.
Yeah.
Or he'll like talk to some dumbass Christian conservative, and it's like, dude, you can like I love Haas because he's smart, but it's like he only when he gets mad, there's clearly a reason. But the people he talks to, they're good at like hiding it as though he's dumb when it's not the case. Like that's what Vaj did when he was talking to him. Like
Yeah.
or Destiny. Like
I saw
Destiny
the
they
Vosh
play,
debate
oh, I'm so
stream.
chill, I'm so calm. It's like
Yeah.
shut the fuck up, bro.
I saw the Vosh debate live, dude, and I was just like, I was kind of shocked. I was just like, bro, like this is like your chance, This is like my first time, like getting introduced to the guy, right? And like, I didn't get pissed, but I was like, you had your chance and kind of blew it. But then like, it blew him to the stratosphere. You know what I'm saying? Like the Vosh debate. So I mean,
Yo, I gotta
don't
head
think
out.
so.
came out of
I
it.
think Haas did well in the Vosh debate.
No,
he
I
did
have a friend of
fantastic.
mine
definitely
who he
won,
studies
but,
philosophy, and he was saying, yeah, Haas like pretty much hit like the nail on the head in pretty much every point.
No,
Like,
yeah, of course he won the debate or whatever, but
Because
I'm just
Vosh
saying,
isn't a
like,
smart person, so.
yeah, first of all, that
No,
this
yeah,
that's so
he is.
true.
He is.
And I'm critical of Haas. Like I have my criticism of Haas. He does say
Same.
no. So like, and like, bro, like Vosh, it's not that hard to talk to Vosh. Like that's like
No, but
he's not the
Bosch,
smartest
he's
person.
very slimy. He's like Steven Crowder. He likes to make like little side comments so that if you get angry about it, he'll be like, "Oh, dude, what's wrong? Why are you so worked up, buddy? Bro, what the fuck?
Yeah.
You're this, you're that." He's the one who popularized the phrase like, you're what's it called? That's literally fascist, red fascist. He
Yeah.
made it popular amongst red
Like, dude,
tubers.
these guys are like literally fascists. Like, we can't.
Vosh is
literally
a
like,
psyop, bro.
He's
he's something,
and
bro.
the thing is, he shitted on Green Party people because I came from the Green Party before I became an ML. Like I'm literally a on the books a Green Party registered person. Like I'm a member and I'm like on the ballot for primaries and shit. Like when they see like who's registered as Republican or Democrat, I'm registered as a Green because I saw them as
That's
like
your
a
cover.
popular front. You said what?
I said that's your cover.
Yeah.
If they ever go for you, it's
That's
like, nah.
if you actually look at history, the Progressive Party in the 50s used to be a cover for MLs. Like
Okay.
Henry Wallace. Yeah, Henry Wallace used to be a friend of Stalin, and when he ran after Roosevelt died, a lot of MLs came with him.
Damn, actually, yeah. I mean, you can't call yourself a communist party in America. It's just like, you're not gonna go in
Yeah.
there.
Look
Very
at
hard.
PSL. That's why PSL is called PSL. It's not called like a communist party. It's not called Stalin did nothing wrong party or platinum diamond level communist party diamond skin or whatever.
Yeah.
It's called PSL, and they LARP about indigenous struggles, and they like Leonid Pelletier, the guy that's always there for peace and freedom that they use.
No.
They always pivot. He's the Native American guy that was accused of killing FBI agents. He's on
Like
the
whole
Peace and Freedom
Alcatraz
Party
thing?
ticket.
With
You
the
said
whole
what?
Alcatraz thing? When
He was a leader in that.
No,
but
he wasn't. Leonardo Petro or that guy. He was more in the Midwest, I think, right? Like
yeah,
that was the aim. That was aim.
But he was still with like the American Indian movement, right?
Yeah, that's
he was
American
he was one of the left wing of the movement. That's a movement that proves that like ideological discipline is necessary because a lot of there was a lot of weirdo libertarians like Russell Means. Literally,
yeah,
he fucked that movement up. It's not even funny.
He was like pro. What was he? He was pro Contra or something. Like I don't know.
Yeah, and he was like pro Native American casinos. Like he was against regulation, which is like brought no wealth for the last 50 years to the Native American community.
Bro, I don't know. Like I'm not in a place to like be criticizing like certain elements within AIM, but what I do know is that Russell Means was not the most how should I say smart. Like I don't know, bro. He wasn't really that. He wasn't really that. Like I think he gets a lot of hype, but there's a lot of more interesting indigenous activists, I would say, who've done a lot more that like interesting work that I would have. But like Russell Means, he kind of gets the front page of indigenous struggle mostly because he's the most talkative, I would say. at the time he was the most talkative. But yeah, like I don't really agree with a lot of the things that he did though.
No,
but what I do know is like,
because he thought the BIA was socialism. That's what he used to argue.
The BIA,
Bureau of yeah, he literally called it the failed experiment of socialism, and it's like, come on, bro. Like, it's more of a colonial authority than socialism.
The Bureau of Indigenous Affairs or Indian Affairs.
Yeah.
Yeah, bro. Like, look, all right. I don't know, bro. But we were talking about how to pronounce it? Leonard Pieter. That's how I pronounce his name.
Yeah, people, the Peace and Freedom and PSL, they take advantage of his name to win over Native American support.
I mean, what do you mean by money? What do you mean by that?
They use him as a presidential candidate because they use like a lot. Like, remember I said a lot of people LARP about like indigenous socialism because they don't want to talk about socialism at a country, at a nation level.
Yeah.
Because it gets the like liberals happy. The thing about Leonid Pelletier is that, like, I don't even know how to say his last name, but the thing about Gloria Riva and PSL, their discourse ends up being really shitty because if you talk about other countries, they're either like very caustically defending them without an immaterial analysis. So like another country would be Iran. You know what I mean? Like Iran, they slaughtered their communists. They're anti-communist. They're literally they're like Portugal if Portugal was a Muslim country. Like under Salazar.
Yeah. I know what you mean.
They're like the Islamic equivalent of like clericalism in like Spain or in Portugal. But if you tell that to a PSO person, like, oh, you have to support anti-imperialism, it's like, yeah, but that doesn't mean I have to pretend that the
like
we
as Marxist-Leninists, like, I think a lot of, like, just in general, like, people on the left tend to forget, like, when we talk about critical support, like, people forget that it's critical, right?
Yeah.
Like, when it comes with Iran, right? Like, don't get it twisted. I don't want Iran to be firebombed by the United States. I don't think the United States has any sort of legal, like, it's completely illegal for the U.S. to be doing what it's doing to Iran. I fully support that. But what I do not support, I'm not going to say that the Iranian government is this revolutionary socialist government. It's this great, amazing country. I'm not going to say that.
Is on, but he's actually from Iran. He actually knows a lot about the situation. I don't know if he.
Prison will talk. I don't want to overstep my boundaries.
The only elected socialist party in Iran is a Trotskyist one. I always found that a little funny. Like there's I think it's called like an equality party or a socialist party.
I don't even know how that exists.
There are some Islamic socialist parties that are active in like local politics in Iran that have like a couple of mayor like offices and stuff, but other than that,
do they do well?
Not really. They're like I said, they're only active in a couple of like small local villages, like in Gilan and stuff. But
I
don't know. I guess I'll kind of give my 2 cents on Iran as Iranian. Like I was talking to E2 about this actually, funnily enough, yesterday. But with Iran, I think the revolution, like it pretty much ended in a way our 2 centuries of humiliation. Since I don't know how familiar you guys are with like Iran's history, right?
I know bits and pieces.
Yeah, like for almost 2 centuries, you had Russia and like the Western imperial powers that pretty much like completely decimated Iran and humiliated it, and like kind of similar to China, very similar to China actually, with
they
like
just
the
gave it
concessions and stuff.
Every year. They just gave Iran wedgies every year.
Yeah, especially the British.
Russia shoved its head in a toilet and called it a nerd.
You had like the British who got like huge oil concessions in the South, which didn't end until like 1979 with the overthrow of the Shah. Like everyone knows about the 1953 nationalization, but not a lot of people know that stuff got immediately reversed after the CIA-backed coup against Mossadegh.
The Operation Ajax.
Right, yeah. And like the thing is with the revolution, like I think the revolution was good in that it like really
got rid of the monarch, got rid of the Shah.
monarchy, and it kind of ended it was for the first time, the first moment which Iran became fully independent since like 200 years of like Western domination.
Iran.
Yeah, in a way, it was kind of like when Sun Yat-sen took power. Like he wasn't necessarily like a Marxist, but I think it was good for China, or like, you know, or maybe a better comparison to Mao, when like Mao finally ended the foreign domination of China in the mainland. But like the revolution, like it did a lot of good for Iran. Like it nationalized a lot of key sectors of the economy, ending like the British monopoly on oil and American monopolies in other sectors of the economy. And it like put like the profit of a lot of Iran's resources at the service of the population. Like the oil profits, only 30% of the cut goes to the government, which is used for social programs and whatnot. And the other 70% gets redistributed amongst the people.
Do they have like a UBI in Iran for like people who can't find work, or no?
Virtually, yeah, via the oil profits, yeah, pretty much.
Is oil free like it is in Iraq under Saddam?
Actually, no. The gasoline does cost money, but it's cheap and it's regulated by the state. It's like the prices are all set by the state.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's centrally planned. But the thing is with Iran,
what about this? Sorry. What about the intern government after the revolution? Because there was like progressives and some suck dems that took part in the like transitional government.
Right. Like you had a liberal.
The Islamic right, they just kind of like hijacked it, or?
That's a tough call, but I would say the left in Iran wasn't really that big from the get-go. Like the Islamists were pretty much the biggest, I guess, group by far. They were like the driving force of the revolution. And a lot of left-wingers, they kind of they boycotted it, like the MEK, for example, and then they completely like went off the rails by supporting Saddam eventually. But
didn't like them and the Tada, they like won a handful of seats during like the first half of the elections. Like they won like a couple of seats here and there, and then the Ayatollahs just kicked them out of the process entirely. And,
yeah,
like,
it had to do with, I think, what's it called? The MEK refused to recognize the Ayatollah and the new constitution after like a 1980 referendum, I think, for the Islamic Republic, which they boycotted.
So it was because like the population wasn't maybe ready for those radical left-wing reforms, and that they were kind of adventurous a little bit.
That's possible, but
I mean, I'm
it's
also not MEK.
Yeah. The Tuda, they were pretty much like they were kind of similar to the PDPA in Afghanistan in that they wanted to apply a lot of like, they were closely aligned with the Soviets. The MEK, on the other hand, was like, the MEK was honestly an opportunistic group. Pretty much when the Rajavis took over that party, they like turned it into their personal, like kind of like a cult in a way. It's kind of like Gonzalo.
I heard that Rajavi, he used to rape a bunch of the MEK female fighters.
Yeah,
and he would have them take like contraception so that they wouldn't have any of his childs. And that like his wife had to quietly murder him and take over it because he was like just so horny that like he ended up fucking up the operations. Like they couldn't recruit female fighters anymore because if you look at MEK propaganda, there's like a shit ton of women in like little red hijabs. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's really sad. Other than the PKK, they're the only like mass armed women's movement in like an Islamic country. Like it sucks because it gives it a bad image, you know.
I don't know. Like the thing is though with Iran, like it's different from a lot of other like like it's not really comparable to other Islamist like movements and stuff, since they kept an
I'm saying, like,
international
Islamic conservative states.
consistency. Yeah. Like it like kept an international consistency, right? Like they showed solidarity with like other movements of like national emancipation, like Cuba, Venezuela, and like the DPRK. And like even though it has like Khomeinism has like some shitty points in its own ideology, I think it's like kind of out of pocket. It's like ridiculous to like downplay all of that over like just ideological dogmatism.
Yeah, nah, I feel what you mean. I mean, the thing is with Ethiopia too, like, there's never, like, I wish the church had like a liberation theology movement.
Yeah.
Like, I wish some priest got it, and this is a fucked up thing to say. I wish a priest got his brains blown out by like some fucking police officer, like trying to shelter workers. No, hear me. Like, I wish we had a martyr, like a church guy defending the rights of laborers from foreign
like
companies.
Abba Petros during the
Yeah, like Petros is probably he's a liberation image to the Ethiopian Orthodox.
Yeah.
But like, that's where it ends. After that, it's full reactionary drivel. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I like Abba
Yeah.
Petros. He's a
No, I do too. I mean, his
which one
death
was
is
that? Which one was
remembered in
him?
Ethiopia.
That was the one
He's
who
like
was killed by the Italians. Right?
Italians.
he was
He
like a
refused to give
patriarch.
up the partisans. Yeah. And the thing is, like, even in Ethiopia, like in the
Most of the
Derg, they
church-
memorized him. They memorialized him.
They did?
You know? Yeah.
No way.
They saw him as an anti-fascist figure.
Yeah.
He was
that
an
makes
anti-fascist
sense.
figure.
Exactly, they did. But the thing is, like, it's same thing with Tedros. Like, when it came to the Derg, from what my dad told me, because he used to be in the youth campaigns, he said that for Tedros, they had like a balanced critique of him. They said he was good for abolishing slavery, but he kept his wife under shackles. Like any like absolute monarch, he won it through a military conquest.
Yeah.
He but he did good things like he did land reform. If you didn't know that, he gave the land to the peasants in order to win their support. But he only did it so that they could fight in his military campaigns to unite Ethiopia.
Before he became emperor, like Tewodros was kind of like a Robin Hood. When he was Kasa Tewodros back then, like when he was like a shifta, I guess, like when he was like a bandit, he would like steal shit from the Egyptians and stuff like that, and like give it to like his regional area.
Yeah, I mean, he's kind of like a Ethiopian Richard Cromwell, literally. Like, he was an enemy to the royal establishment. Yeah. And the sad thing about it is, like, like Cromwell, he has his problems, Like,
he was a monarch.
He was a hardcore monarch. I mean, but the thing is, this was the 1800s. Most of the world was absolute monarchy. So the logic, it's like judging Caesar for having multiple wives. Like, that's just.
It's like it's explained with like historical materialism.
It's an anachronism. Like, you're using 20.
Such.
It's not like he can go to the HR department at the Empire and like, hey man, like make a complaint and then send an email. Like, the logic is really stupid. It's just like what one of y'all told me the word. It's an anachronism. It has no historical basis. Like, you're using 21st century logic on a leader today. Like, if you're trying to critique him for being praised, that's one thing. But then like denying I don't know what's the word. Denying like, if you wanted to criticize Lincoln for being a slave owner, like, yeah, that was wrong. You know why? Because people even living back then were against slavery. It almost split America open after the Articles of Confederation. Because there were states that even abolished slavery, like Pennsylvania in the North, when America was created. So you can make that argument. But saying like we should have had elections, Ethiopia could have been democratic, he's a dictator. It's like, what was the alternative? Literally,
I'm
what was the alternative?
I'm not saying like I'm not trying to say like I'm not trying to do that sort of analysis. But I am still saying like I'm feverishly anti-monarchist, and I'll still
I
probably
agree.
I'll still probably shit on like any sort of monarch in the country just for the sake of it.
I feel like if Tedros lived,
I feel like when me and Rutan show like I guess lots of reverence towards Tedros, it's the same way that a lot
a
of
British
South
would celebrate
Americans,
Cromwell.
South Americans celebrate Bolivar, right? Like of course Bolivar.
I mean, I think there's a difference between Bolivar and Tedros, though, right?
You think so? I mean, because
but the
Bolivar
times
was
are
like
different.
Bolivar freed because Bolivar freed like countries, right? Tedros they essentially united.
the first period of humiliation in Ethiopian history, like the Zaman Masafet, like the Age of Princes, right? And he fought against the British in like a very anti-imperialist. Like he died in the name of anti-imperialism, basically. Like he committed suicide.
I mean,
being
didn't he only fight against the British because he wanted the British help with fighting the Turks?
No, he
well,
kept
there
capturing,
were
British
the
mercenaries.
Mahadis. The Mahadis
that was
would
the
attack.
Johannes.
No. What I'm
Johannes
saying
Mahadis.
is a lot of Sudanic slave traders would come into Ethiopia and kidnap Ethiopians because that was their part of their economy was slavery, just like the Asusa Sultanate, which is what caused Tedros to destroy the slavery as an institution.
Do you mean
because
outside?
all of his rivals thrived on slavery as an economic mode.
Yeah.
Yeah. Even his critics will say, "Oh, he only abolished slavery is because Shoa, the region that he lived in, had a larger population compared to other regions, so that if he had to pay these workers or whatever, like if he had to give them wages, which was a thing that was starting around the world, it would have fucking fucked their economies up. Like just like the Confederacy, their population smaller, thus they have to rely on like a large surplus labor force because they can't pay everybody, So that's what Tedros was. His population was larger, so there's less populated areas whom majority were slaves. It would have ruined them because they would have either left or they would have challenged the authority of their like owners in the first place. And Menelik, he just fucked everything up after that.
Yeah.
Instead of completely abolishing it, he just like, oh, you're gonna pay a tax.
I mean, Menelik, everything that happened during Menelik, it could have been done by a different emperor way better. Like even Adwa is nothing impressive. Like it wasn't even like Menelik's military, like whatever. First of all, the Italians got messed up because they attacked in the morning on Sunday, right? And I think we all have at least an Orthodox upbringing. I don't know for sure actually, but like obviously
probably most of us do since we're all diaspora. So.
Yeah. So like Kadase, right? Like mass, it's very early in the morning, right? So the soldiers were ready to fight. So this was all basically, and I actually every time I say I quote you, Ethiopia, because you're the one that actually put the idea in my head. Like it was really just the soldiers, like who did it. Like straight up Menelik had nothing to do with it. In fact,
monarchs don't really do anything.
Giving concessions to the Italians.
He was practically
Adwa was just a breaking point.
Yeah, he was senile by the time the battle happened. That's the thing that a lot of people don't research on.
Yeah.
He was literally senile. Like the nigga's brain wasn't even working.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure he got to a point like he was like basically done. Like
yeah, I mean his like
he was
photo,
done.
like he looks like
you always see those paintings where he's like in the battlefield type shit, and he's like always fighting. It's like, bro, that guy was probably in a chair sleeping on his bed or something.
Dude,
he was
like
in
Thrones,
70s
was
when
there,
that battle
happened.
happened.
Like a cushion.
Yeah,
like, he just lay there.
He got like letters. He got letters from the war. Like, oh, okay.
Yeah,
that's about what he did. That's about what he did. So like for
and he even found Addis Ababa. It was his wife. It was
Taitu. Yeah,
I think isn't there a lot of things where it's just like his wife was probably like doing all the political stuff as he was going out.
She was
that's why she kind of took.
She
was basically doing everything.
Like Ethiopian queens, like just managing their emperors, like when the emperor's like pretty old and stuff like that, like just regents, And she was one of those people tied to. I mean, I don't even know if she was it, but she was in the battle. I think that's just a folk tale. I don't know.
I don't think she was in the battle. Even if she was, it doesn't really make a
I
difference.
mean,
to
like,
me,
there's
'cause I
like,
don't
you know,
really.
like the famous Adra painting, right? Like, she's like on like
Yeah,
she's like
yeah.
the gat. Like,
Is
she has like the revolver.
involved with the
Yeah.
Italians? Yeah.
Bro, oh my god, bro, man, it would have been so nice if a socialist movement in Ethiopia co-opted those anti-imperialist stuff. That would have been
We
nice.
need Bolivarianism, like I said earlier, like a it aesthetically Tedros-centered leftism, like Bolivarianism. But the problem with Bolivarianism is that it just becomes a left-wing nationalist, culturally, but economically social democratic because it doesn't have like a material basis. Like, you know what I mean?
That's my concern. That's my concern with applying the situation in South America
that's
within
why
Africa,
Shafi's
because
will,
I don't think that'll be enough. Like,
that's
the thing
the
about South
failing
America,
situation.
is like the applications of like socialism of the 21st century, Bolivarism, or whatever you want to call it. Those make sense and work for the context of what South America is undergoing right now, right? Like for Venezuela, Bolivia, and those countries, like applying those things to at least like fight against anti-imperialism, fight against the U.S. It makes sense, right? And they also cooperate with other actual Marxist-Leninist countries around the world, like, such as Cuba.
Dude, that's so true.
My issue.
I was gonna say,
Go ahead.
like, South Americans and Latin Americans, like, they know America is the enemy. You know what I'm saying? In Ethiopia,
oh yeah,
we think every other ethnicity is the enemy, right? Like, Tigray thinks Amara is the enemy, and Amara thinks the Oromo. You know what I'm trying to say? Like, we don't actually point at the issue, which is imperialism and neocolonialism. You know what I'm saying? But South
if you go to like a lot of African
you know what I'm
countries,
saying? Like, there's like like the Yankees, right? They literally sing songs.
If you go to
like
I agree. Like if you go to a lot of African countries, even like you'll see it's a similar sort of situation. Except Ethiopia is just the easiest example because they're the most like pronounced overall with their ethnic crisis. But like if you go to Nigeria, if you go to South Africa, if you go to obviously Congo, any sort of country in Africa, it's a similar issue where it's just like the enemy is like the person who's my neighbor.
Yeah.
The enemy is not like imperialism. It's just the person who's my neighbor, and that's why like I think that's an issue with the modern day building of like socialism in like Africa, because there's not really many parties that have like attempted to address that in the modern day. That's why Pan-Africanism was really good at addressing those issues, because what Pan-Africanism did was like, okay, look, we're all essentially like African. We're all essentially undergoing the same sort of crisis, which is like Europe and the US like coming in and like fucking us over. So the solution to that is we work together, we cooperate, we unite under scientific socialism. That's why Pan-Africanism was like a really intelligently made movement in the context of Africa, because what it did is it brought people of not just different ethnicities, but people from completely different regions together across the continent. But now what the problem is like all this ethnic crises and whatnot. Of course, a lot of them have like legitimate grievances, because usually when those socialist experiments in African countries are destroyed, what comes up in power are reactionary elements or parties and stuff that target certain ethnicities, or whatever the case may be.
The new generation of African leaders.
The new generation of African leaders. That's what Clinton called it, right? And like we see all these rises of like very incompetent like neoliberal leaders in Africa who utilize these like divisions and stuff to maintain power and whatnot.
Do you know who paints that picture so beautifully?
Yeah. I can't even join.
Abiy Ahmed tweet where he links Yoweri Museveni.
I showed you that, right?
And Buhari, or the Nigerian president.
Bro, that's the neoliberal Avengers.
Yeah. I forgot what you called it. Yeah.
Bro, I'm telling you, bro. All of these guys literally serve U.S. imperialism and NATO imperialism so badly, bro. Like Museveni, that guy has been in power like for what, 40 years, maybe more. Like I don't even know.
Kagame has been there since like the genocide ended. It's like 25 years.
Yeah. Wasn't Kagame like complicit in it?
Fucking.
He I mean he's Tutsi, right? But I'm pretty sure he was complicit in the reprisals, right?
Yeah. Wait, Rutin, what's up with you?
Sorry, no. I'm trying to log in. You know what? I'm gonna stay silent I'm gonna try to join. Like, I'm in PCUSA and I'm supposed to go to the Second Congress, but they have all
you
this
should head to that.
nerdy fucking tech fucking garbage, man. I fucking hate this. Like,
Is it as bad
it's
as like the
so
Marxist.org like website
yes, it's
design?
Bro,
this takes
we
forever,
need
bro.
Marxist-Leninist computer designers, please. Website designers, please.
Yeah,
Please.
it doesn't even work.
Days,
I just changed my all right, so we use a different app. We don't use Discord anymore. But I've been using a different app over and over. I keep changing my password. It doesn't fucking work. I don't care. I miss the fucking Congress. I don't give a fuck. This is so annoying. Jesus Christ.
By the way, you said you were talking to me in the DMs. Like you were saying, like you saw like the Portuguese Communist Party. Like what's up with that?
We were supposed to go there, but our representative got cucked because there's kind of, and I don't want this to become a debate or an argument, but basically the old CP have been trying to cockblock us from going to events because the CP, they don't believe in Marxism-Leninism anymore. Like, I don't know if Haas doesn't know this, but their committee even decided, like the Politburo and the Central Committee, they decided at the Congress that the CPUSA does not believe in Marxism-Leninism. Marxism-Leninism.
Yeah, we
believe like Bill of Rights socialism or something.
We believe.
Yeah, I don't know what the hell that is.
We believe in socialism in the 21st century. We're neo-Chavismo, pink-tide dumbasses.
Damn, I don't look. I'm not even a part of any organization for real. I never heard of CP. I have to talk to people. I have to talk to people who are in the CPUSA about that because I've never heard.
Is
this a recent decision? This is a recent decision.
Yes.
Damn.
It started with Joe Blatchel.
I don't know who that is.
I don't know anything about like American.
Yeah, I don't know anything. You know who would be a good person to talk and bring on about this E2? Like Honecker. Honecker is like an expert on this kind of stuff.
Honecker on would actually be. Honecker is like this guy that me in prison know. He's like really like he's like very well versed on like all like global and just American social stuff. But yeah, it's wait.
I just missed the PCUSA Second Congress today, bro. This shit fucking annoys me. I hate that,
man.
No, I missed it because they're not. I can't do anything. I don't even want to deal with this shit, man. Like they can do whatever the fuck they want. I don't care.
Yeah.
This shit's so fucking annoying, man. It's like, why? I don't understand. Like, why not have like a simple system? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Oh, bro, this is why we desperately need more computer designers, more website designers, more everything within the Marxist-Leninist community. Speaking to everyone on stream, if you are pursuing a career in college, I recommend you do computer design. Please. Every time I go on Marxist.org, it looks horrible. Please, please. Yeah. I'm begging you. I'm begging you.
It's like a meme. It's like, you know, like Young Thug and like his like boys like on the computer and they're like looking.
Yeah, this is it.
Yeah, it's like yo, this is the worst like worst website design in the history of mankind for a Marxist website. Ayo, drop it. That was literally Marxist.org.
Bro, I'm telling you, bro. Look, the revolution will come once we have better looking websites, bro. Please.
I'm on Marxist.org right now.
How's that going for you?
I like how they divide the books. It's a lot easier to read, but other than that,
don't get me wrong. I fuck with having free PDFs of like whatever I want to read. But I also want to be able to like not have like part of my retina destroyed as I'm looking at it.
Yeah, you know? Dude, that's the reality, man. We've been streaming for 2.5 hours, so.
Yeah, and y'all have been streaming for a long ass time.
Yeah.
Going back to the what's it called, the Young Thug shit. You all know about Hammer City's new fucking rival?
No. Who?
Slime City.
Oh yeah.
Young Thug's making Slime City. He got like 100 acres in Atlanta.
Bro, look,
Yo.
if I can have an analysis on that, like, bro, that is the most bourgeoisie
Hammer,
bullshit I've ever seen in my life.
They're not like Gazi Kodo is like a weirdo hotep who fucking literally hijacked a genuinely African like leftist party when they told him he couldn't be the leader and they told him to fuck off. He said like, "Oh, they're fake socialists," and then he says, "I don't even believe in Marxism Leninism. It's it's a white ideology," and it's like, are you fucking dumb?
Yeah.
Didn't you try to take over a Marxist-Leninist African like international party, and they told you to fuck off? It's like, come on.
Yeah, so I've been streaming for a while, so I mean we can still continue this, but I'm gonna end stream. I'm gonna put all you guys' links in chat. But yeah, this is. Wait, Prism, what happened to your Twitter?
My Twitter?
Yeah.
What do you mean? What about it? It's still up.
Really? It says like this account doesn't exist for me when I search it.
Oh, I changed the name. It's RTSG_Prism now.
Oh, okay.
Can you imagine if Prism just got clipped out of Twitter, just destroyed from Twitter, as we're talking right now? Like, that'd be horrible.
You said too much about. Wait, can you just like show me the link?
Wait, why are you banned from Twitter?
No, he's fine on Twitter. He's fine.
YouTube channel.
Yeah. Do you guys know the African People's Socialist Party?
Yeah.
Yeah, they that's the party he tried to hijack back in the day.
African People's Socialist Party. Let me look.
Oh, wait, Hanukkah was talking about this last.
Yo, okay, so this was rooting for Lenin's YouTube channel, and then this was Ethiopia Communist's Twitter account. You know, I like a lot of the stuff he says. He's a good friend of mine. And then still looking for Prism's link. But yeah, so these are all. I'm just linking all the people who were in the cameo today. We're gonna cut this up. That's Prisms, and then let me do rooting for Lenins again. Other than that, yeah, this was a great stream, guys. Great viewership. We peaked at like 20. We were getting like 15 viewers in an average for the Hakim portion. So this was a good stream, dude. You know, Hakim, like, this was kind of a down bad moment for Hakim, but I mean, I'll still watch his stuff. I recommend you guys watch his stuff, the well researched stuff. And especially Yugopnik too, shout out to that guy. But other than that, yeah, I'm gonna end stream and see you guys. See y'all later.